And there we are live up in this thing. Hello, everyone. I am Paul Wizzo. Before we meet our guest, I have a few announcements to make. I want to say thank you to all my subscribers and followers. I appreciate your support. If you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll find the link in the description. Just click on the link and just make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll get notified whenever we go live. Because I usually go live according to my guest availability. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you can know when we go live. Remember that it's always 100% free to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate your support. You can also find Wizzo Talk on Spotify. If you'd like to just listen to the audio version, just look up Wizzo Talk on Spotify, and then you'll be able to listen to us on there. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm going to slow it down for a second. And always remember that I'm always looking for guests. So if you ever like to be a guest on the show, hit me up in the comments, message me or whatever, something like that. Don't worry about a topic because I keep plenty of topics in store, so you won't have to worry about that. Those are your announcements. Take due notice thereof and govern yourselves accordingly. We're going to meet our guest, and we're going to get this thing popping. Seven, hit me what you got.
Yo, this is your boy 7 Points of Bliss. More bliss, more life, man. Hey, y'all can check me out on the After Real Truth on Google. Just Google it. You can find all my artwork and my clothing brand and stuff like that. Just check it out, man. You ain't even got support. Just check it out, man. I'm on Spotify. Wizzo Talk is on Spotify. I'm under Cosmic Currency 777. You know what I'm saying? Hey, thank you for having me.
All right, all right. OB, what you got, man?
Hey, man, it's your world's famous All-American RVB Baker Jr., veteran extraordinaire. Y'all see my link, I'm my leg 001 on all platforms. And I'm just going to make a quick correction on 7. Buy his shit. Buy it. Support him. He might not tell y'all that, but I'm telling you, buy that stuff. Buy it. And that's all I'm going to say right now. And support Wizzo Talks because it's real talk. That's all I got, brother.
Already. All right. Appreciate that. Come on there, Rico. What you got first time? Rico.
Can you hear you? Oh, yeah. The screen froze up. I'm sorry. The screen had froze up. Hello, everyone. It's Rico from the podcast If Relationships Could Talk. And if you're not following or subscribed, we on all major platforms. Also, you can follow me Riding with Rico, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok and Instagram.
Wait a minute now. You got to kick that in reverse, because you said somebody know. What was that? What was that podcast or something like that?
You said I could say anything I wanted to.
Yeah, I know it, but I want to hear it because I didn't get to hear it. So
I'm on the podcast If Relationships Could Talk.
Oh shit! Okay, relationships.
I'm already on the pod. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I wish you to put that under your name so we could have saw that and shit. But that's what's up. Yeah, I encourage everybody to promote whatever the hell they want to on here. So promote your shit. That's what's up. I appreciate it. Yeah. All right, last but not least, let's go on to my man Deontay. Okay. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on? Deontay Davis, black entrepreneur, community activist, right now gearing up to start a super PAC that is going to deal with strictly black business and economics. So that's what we got going on. Stay tuned.
All right, that's what's up. Yeah, most definitely. So, okay, guys. So usually on Barbershop Talk, I usually have everyone just bring a topic, which you guys did now. No one knows who I'm going to call on first to get this thing going. This is kind of like a special that I wanted to do because we're going to be talking about the election, and we're going to see if it's Trump the Great White Hope. So I'm just going to read off a couple of things I got. Well, it's more than a couple. It's about like 8. I'm going to read off a couple of things here. I said it was more than a couple. It's about 9. I went from 8 to 9. But anyway, I'm going to read off some shit, and then after that, I'm going to call on my first guest to get this thing popping, and here we go. So Trump has control of the House, the Senate, Supreme Court, and the White House. Will Republicans eliminate Affordable Care Act? Fox News reporter appointed Secretary of Defense. Not yet, but I'm just saying. Which he opposed women serving in combat roles. Black men's support for Kamala Harris, extremely low. Hispanic and Latinos voters supporting Trump. I've been watching TikTok. I've been seeing different calls for boycotting Latino businesses on TikTok. 91% of black women voted for Kamala Harris. And guys, these are just some of my internet searches that I'm going over right here. A federal judge in Texas made a significant ruling against amnesty for undocumented immigrants married to U.S. citizens. Should Joe Biden consider resigning and naming Kamala Harris as the 47th president? It's been talk about that. The Republicans' red wave. There are concerns that Trump cabinet might lack diversity. Could this lead to all-white wave? Matt Gaetz as the Attorney General. Trump has mentioned firing military generals. And my last thing that I kind of started with, is Trump the great white hope? So right now, I start with whoever. So right now, I'm going to start with Deontay and let him get us going. And let's get this thing talking. So what's up? What you got there, Deontay?
Is Trump the great white hope? I don't know about all of that, but I think that there are a lot of white people that support him. As far as the working class, I think he's completely away from the traditional president and white man that comes into power. Just not with the entire system, not supporting and promoting the globalist agenda. So I think that some ways he is, in other ways he's not. And I just really think depends on what group of white men or white people you're looking at.
Okay, and I'll just echo on that for someone else get on. And I don't think it's just the whites, because I know a lot of black people voted for Trump. Now, I'm going to just tell you this, me, because doing this podcast, I've never asked anyone who they vote for, who they support. But I'm going to just tell you right this. I say fuck Donald Trump. And one guy told me, he said, Wizzo, it's not about the person, it's about the policies. So I told him, well, fuck Donald Trump and fuck his policies. But that's just me, because I don't give a rat's ass about Donald Trump whatsoever. Now, whoever else does, that's on them. But I don't care about him. If Donald Trump freed every black person locked up in the pen right now and gave every one of them $1 million, I wouldn't vote for that motherfucker. But that's just me.
Me
so
either.
Anyone like to?
I wouldn't either.
Anybody got anything on anything right there? What Dante was just saying.
I do. Trump is without a doubt not no great white hope. He the great white hope for the white people. He's not no great white hope for anyone that looks like us. I mean, how many times does the man have to show you that he's a racist? I mean, he literally has all these racist groups who support him, and he speaks with and talks to. He doesn't want to do anything for us. Look at his cabinet picks, all the people he done picked. Not a brown face up in there. All pale faces. That's what I call them. I'm sorry if that's people say that's offensive, but that's just what I say.
Right,
But and this Mark McNeil, he said that Trump is the best thing. That man has to be white. I don't know who he is, but if he looks like any one of us, he's a fool. I'm sorry, because that man is not going to do anything for any of us. They want to take us back to slavery times when white men had total power and can do whatever they want. That's the truth. I'm sorry. I feel a little passionate about that.
Hey, check it out, Rico. One thing you don't have to do, man, you don't have to apologize. Spit that shit how you spit it, and whoever don't get it, they just fucking don't get it. So one thing we ain't got to do, we ain't got to apologize about that shit, because you speaking just how you feel about it. So I'll see if Ori or Seven got anything y'all want to talk on that.
Now, I always got something to say, but I'm going to let my brother Seven go first.
Hey man, I appreciate that. I was gonna go ahead and let you do your thing, but I'll take that and go ahead. First thing I want to say is we keep relying on the system, which is not made for us, and it's not our game to play, but we expect to win, which is stupidity. I had an older lady who I really respect. She was telling me, I was sitting with her when she was in the hospital, and she was saying that we need to vote to get our people in there so we can gain power and just beat them in their own game. And I tried to gently tell her that she's wasted her life voting because nothing has ever changed. You've been voting for so long. Nothing changed. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? Nothing for our people. We can get people in there who look like us, but they're not us. They're still our enemies. And people do not understand you can't beat your enemies at their game. Only thing you can do is destroy it. You know what I'm saying? And she just was not comprehending that. My man Rico said Trump got motherfucker all pale skins in there. But let's check this out. This is even funnier. Kamala wasn't even married to a black man. You know what I'm saying? She was married to pale skins. Her motherfucking kids don't even look black at all. Motherfuckers are so ready to vote for her. It's weird. I didn't vote at all because I don't believe in any of this shit. But at the end of the day, right, our people have to come to a conclusion that this system is not for us, and we need to step outside of the system and work together to bring it down. Because this is our land. We need to have our own government. You know what I'm saying? But people don't understand this because we study getting brainwashed by our enemies. We reading their books, we watching their movies, we listening to their music. Even if it's people who look like us making the music, is pushed by them. You know what I'm saying? All this killing and shit. Our people wasn't making music like this back in the 80s. I was born in 85, dog. And I still remember the hip hop that was out back then. Back when Queen Latifah actually was looking like a black woman. And now she got blonde hair and breast reduction and all this other shit. Back when fucking Ice-T was making pimp music. Now he playing a goddamn police officer on fucking TV. Our people are traitors, but for money. The money is making us weak, bro. And all this shit. I'm telling you, politics is like that fucking Mike Tyson fight that just happened, bro. It's all bullshit.
All right. Ari, come on in. What you got there?
Now, you know, I'm going to come up here and disagree with just about 90% of what my brother said, but it's all in love. we connect on different levels, and we got to do that. First and foremost, you know I'm a vote in everything. I know it's a game. It's a game that's played to win. So I'm going to vote regardless. But when we start talking about what the politics is doing, yeah, they're playing right in our faces. You know, I wanted to address a little bit about some of the stats that came out. And some of the stats said that a lot of brothers let Kamala Harris down. We got to watch how media spins shit like that. Because, yes, there was a lot of black people that voted for Kamala Harris, and there was some black men that didn't vote for him, but the numbers are not the same as the Latino numbers that voted against her. You know, the numbers are not the same as the white women that voted against her. So when they start talking about stats, freeze that camera and look at what it really is, because what they're trying to do is not just play in our faces, but play us against each other. I am one that definitely voted for Kamala Harris. Is it because she's black? Yeah. Is it because I think she would have did better for us? Hell yeah. And more importantly, because I'm an independent, I voted to try to keep Trump out of the White House. That guy is a danger. I'm not going to even say a clown anymore because we can laugh, say clown. That guy is a danger to the way of American life and the way that we're represented around the world. Now, some people, and here's the part that I'm going to call people out on that like Trump. Some people would get all up in arms to say, please give Trump a chance. You know, he says stuff, but that's not what he means. That's a grown-ass man. He means exactly what he says, and he's shown that every time. But when I hear people, I'm not going to say you, but when I hear people come up to the defense of Trump, the first thing I want to ask them is, why don't you have that same fucking energy for people that got out of jail and trying to do better? Why don't you have that same energy for somebody that's been coming time and time again to try to do something right? And you say, well, you did something 23 years ago, so we can't trust you. That's just the way it is. This man has said some negative stuff, potential damage stuff to America on a daily basis, and I see people kiss his ass. I'm not going to even talk about the stuff with the rape and all the other undercover stuff he talked. I'm going to come straight as a military man. Whenever somebody talks against a veteran, you getting a thumbs down with me. Whenever you talk shit about people that have dedicated 20, 30, 40 years of their life to this damn country and you got the nerve to talk shit and laugh about their death, you don't mean shit to me. So when we talk about Trump, my disregard for him goes all the way back to
John McCain. John McCain.
So they can miss me with all this other shit about, well, Trump's going to do. All Trump's going to do is pad his pockets and reward anybody that kisses his ass. So if you on the Trump pucker up team, get your lips ready for that dookie love, because he got it for you. But anybody else that's got content or character or know what a fucking leader really is, you're going to stand up on all 10 and say, this man is wrong because he doesn't have what it takes. And I'm going to tell you, with my man 7, we go back and forth. I respect him not voting at all than saying an excuse for voting for Agent Orange. And with Wizzo, I feel very strongly about this because the guy is an asshole. Yeah. And I'm going to let go of the mic.
All right, all right. Thanks for joining us on in, Jason. Wait a minute, Jason, we can't hear you. And while Jason's getting ready there, I'm gonna thank all our viewers for watching, tapping in for the comments. I appreciate it. And let me just do a sound check with Jason, make sure we get him in here. And while we waiting on Jason to come in, I'll go on and say, I know people was talking about Trump, give Trump a chance, give Trump this and that. Like I said, I don't give a fuck about no Donald Trump. You know, I think he, like Arvie was saying, he's going to pad his pockets, and you can already look at the people that he's selecting to be in place. You know, I mean, it wasn't the first time he said drain the swamp. And now this time, I mean, you know, you're looking at like Matt Gaetz. I mean, come on, man. I mean, he's up on investigation and all kind of shit that's going on with him also. And here Trump is putting him to his cabinet. I think someone said somewhere about Tim Scott and someone else. I can't remember what that comment said. I think
Byron Donalds.
Yeah, you know. So Jason, you with us yet? He's working on it, but
he low.
You low.
How about that?
Yeah. Okay. Well, Jason, welcome on in, man. We appreciate you letting me know that you was gonna be a little bit late. We just hit on one thing, talking about Trump being the great white hope, you know, and you know, I don't know if you want to pigtail on anything, if you got something you want to go on, because right now we just kind of free falling like we always do.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know what's been said.
Yeah.
But I agree that he is the great white hope. When you talk about what the what the definition of that is, you know what I mean? Like, he is the savior, you know, quote unquote savior for white people. And that's why no matter what he does, his popularity continues to grow, because they have subconscious racism going on, right? Like, they don't even realize the level of race. What bothers them more than anything else is to be either on a level playing field with black and brown people or below black and brown people when it comes to population and rule and authority, right? So anything that doesn't have majority beside the white race subconsciously really bothers them. You know what I mean? And so he started coming around saying these things that made the white man feel like there's hope. You know, there's somebody going to fight for me. There's somebody going to make us feel better. And that's his popularity. And that's why he, you know, is able to pull off the stunts that he pulls off and say the things that he says without any kind of repercussion, because for a long time in this country, they have masked racism and the undertones and overt racism under the words of patriotism and Christianity, right? And so now things that are seen as patriotism and Christianity are really racism, a lot of it. And it's been going on for so long that they can't even differentiate the difference. So then you get a guy like Trump, it just happens to be Trump, but you get a guy like Trump that starts saying stuff like that. They see it as patriotism and Christianity, and they roll with it.
Can I speak on something he said?
Yeah, go ahead.
He is exactly right when they're terrified of being on a even or equal playing field with us. That's the whole point of his presidency, because they know it wouldn't be equal, because they are inferior in everything. That's why if we take over, they know it's no getting it back. That's the whole purpose of their racism. They hate us because they're at the bottom. How can you be jealous of someone when you have everything? Only thing left
Ah,
is
damn, damn, Rico, we losing
because
In the
you.
you don't.
Matrix.
Oh crap!
Rico, we lost you, man.
Hey, yeah, my computer froze first.
I voted.
Yeah, my computer froze for some reason, and I'm gonna switch computers. I'm about to clock in with my other computer. My microphone is messing up.
Okay, well, I'll bring you back in once you go back in. Mark, I see you got some
Yeah,
comments. I see you voting right there. Anybody else have anything on that?
Hey man,
I'll say this. I think that whether it was a Democrat or Republican win, it's racist on both sides. It's unilateral hate and disgruntlement for black people. I actually traveled to the heart of so-called progressivism, the heart of Democrats, where they claim that they are leading in progressivism and the liberals. And I'm telling you, you go to places like Boston, Massachusetts, you go to Roxbury. Look at Roxbury, and you're gonna look at the positions of the black community in Roxbury, and this is gonna be the same as if you was in rural Mississippi, deep in the South. It's the same. So I don't like to play these games of saying, "Oh well, the Democrats are better; they're the lesser evil." When you have a party that's promoting degeneracy, breaking up the black family for the last 40 years, promoting black women not to work with black men, I'm never going to support you. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're Democrat. I'm never going to support things that work to the detriment of our community. And this is black people inside of this party who also sit back and support that. They encourage that. And I think that when you look at, okay, well, we need to make a vote for black women. If black women want to dismantle white supremacy in America, they sure didn't show it. And all this time Kamala's been in office, she's never made any mention about doing anything for black people, addressing black issues. Their platform was not about women's rights, but abortion, not addressing black maternal health, not addressing the high rate in which black women who want their children are being killed. These things aren't being addressed by the Democratic Party. When you talk about women's rights, you talk about women's health, what are you going to be doing to promote family and community? You're saying your most pressing issue was the rights of transgenders. I don't know if y'all know this, but in places like Baltimore, they can trans your kid without telling you about it. And if you try to stop them, they can take your kids out of your home. So who does that? What? Yes, in Baltimore.
Maryland.
Democrat land. So it's like, for me, I don't look at it as saying, oh, Trump is the greatest racist that I've ever seen. No, he's not. Let's just be real. If we're gonna talk about racists, we gotta talk about Biden, Jim Crow. Biden said, look, black people should not be in schools with white peoples. These is jungle, these is wild people. This same man that did the crime bill that led to the false imprisonment and prosecution of black men, that contributed to the detriment and destabilization of black communities. If we're going to talk about this and say, oh, well, let's talk about Bill Clinton, who then, once black men were literally getting their cases overturned, he signed what they call the Prisoners Litigation Reform Act. Stop black men who were falsely convicted and incarcerated from getting their cases overturned. Democrat. So I don't look at it as, oh, well, the Democrats are the good, they're the positive, and they do the exact same detrimental policies. They have the exact same benign neglect. At least with the Republicans, you know that they don't like you. They don't hide it. They just say, man, fuck y'all niggas. Fuck y'all niggas.
Exactly.
The Democrats like, exactly. We're on your side. We're going to help you. Exactly. White women told black women, we're going to support you in what they did. They showed them they ass and gave them they ass to kiss. That's the reality of what happened there. And so I don't like to like champion one or the other. I didn't vote for Trump either. I voted for Jill Stein. And the only reason why I voted for Jill Stein and Green Party is because they had reparations on their platform. That was the only reason why. She was in every state, and I was like, well, they got reparations. They trying to do something to amend the economic straits of black people and address the wealth gap that the black community is facing. So that was my policy. Those were the things that I thought should have been platformed. And the Democrats had plenty of time if they wanted to truly address black straits, if they want to address the black issues, if they want to address black disparities, they had plenty of time. And they didn't do it. So it's fuck the Democrats. It's fuck Kamala, who ain't black, who's an Indian Jamaican. She ain't black. Her people was Irish slaveholders. You know what I'm saying? Check the facts. Fuck her. Fuck Trump. I supposed to be the one of them.
All right, I've been trying to be quiet, but I got to put this out there. This is definitely the fuck it channel, and I support everything you say about fucking everybody. But let's call a fact a fact. If she was walking down the street, nobody gonna say she Indian or whatever. She a black woman. At the end of the day, she a black woman. I'm gonna give it to you. The Democrats have been placating for a very long time. I mean, we can always go all the way back to when they was the Dixiecrats and couldn't stand our ass. I mean, that's facts. But what are we going to do about it? We can either say here that we mad and we're not going to do anything for them and we're not going to do anything for the Republicans and they win, or we can try to bring them to task and get somebody that we can at least get in the door and talk to. So I'm not here to tell y'all to vote for anybody that you don't want to vote for. I'm not here to tell you to call somebody black that you don't want to call black, but I am here to tell you this. If that woman walk in your neighborhood, they're not going to say who's the Indian woman. They're going to say who's the black woman.
If she walk in my neighborhood.
Hold up a second. Hold up, Deontay. Hold up, Deontay. Hold up.
Deontay,
hold up.
They not going to mess
Hold
with
up. Hold up.
If she walking behind her, she walking with her family.
Hold up.
They going to holler at them.
Jason gotta go. Deontay. Oh, hold up, guys. I don't want it to go back and forth because Jason's already in line to say something. So I didn't get to hear nothing you said, Deontay. So I want to hear what Jason had to say.
No, I was just gonna say, based on what Orby just said, the reality is you can't fight against and win against a system that's designed for you to fail, against a system that you don't have an ally in, against a system that actively works against you. If you're a 5-year-old young man, young boy, and I'm 45-year-old man, as I am at my size, 6 foot, over 250 pounds, and I put my hand on your head, ain't nothing you can do to climb up to my face. You can't get level with me, and I'm gonna make sure you don't get level with me. So how do you fight a system that's designed from inception for you to fail? It started with 3/5 of man, and you fast forward to where we are today in 2024. You don't fight that system. That whole system's got to come down. And what's the chances or likelihood of that happening? I get what my man said, Deontay, about the reparations. I'm all for it. But the reality is that's never going to happen. We'll never get that. That we're not going to get it. But the system is designed for us not to have things like that happening. And Kamala Harris or Deontay getting elected is not going to change that, because the system is not designed for, even if he does become president, for him to do things like that. It's not going to happen. So what we have to do is decide what plan B is for us as people, because we can't fight the system that we're in. It's a losing battle.
You're right.
My opinion.
Let me see. Rico, you got something? Then we're going to come up to Deontay. Rico, you got something on that? Are you good?
Yeah, he's exactly right. Both parties, whether it's Republican or Democrat, they both races and both parties hate us. I don't agree with the Democratic that all the transgender gay stuff. I don't agree with that. But I voted for her for the simple fact that Trump wants to take us back to the 50s and 60s, or basically back to whenever white men could do whatever they wanted without being checked. He said he want to give police complete immunity. They already kill us at a rapid rate. So why would I vote against my own and my people's best interest? I have 4 sons. They get shot out. It terrifies me thinking about he signed off and saying now police have complete immunity. I couldn't vote for him for that. That made no sense to me, because he said it and he's going to do it. Now that he has complete control, whether it's the Supreme Court, the House, the Senate, and he's going to be the president. It's a no-win situation for us, but I'd have rather dealt with gay people or the alphabet people than dealing with someone who want to take me back when a white man could just walk up to me and slap the hell out of me and I might get hung if I say something back. I can't do that.
Deontay, what are you going to say now?
I was going to say what Ori was saying. If Kamala walked in my community and she took her white Jewish husband and her 2 white stepkids, and she walked down my street, nobody would think she was black. They'd think, oh, look at that little Latina or Indian, whoever, whatever she is. They ain't gonna think she black. They gonna think that's a whole white woman, or what they call a POC, person of color. I wouldn't even think she was black. I mean, so and the thing that gets me is like, if you look at her entire campaign, you never saw her whole white family. You never saw them. Why? Why everybody else around on the platform, you see their families, you get to see where their roots is, where they came from. You don't ever see her family. Why? Because her family wasn't who they said they was. And that was intentional to misguide and belie and say, well, it's more important for you to have symbolic representation in your government than actual power. And I think that we get caught up on a lot of symbolism. We get caught up on a lot of, oh, well, we can't control this. Well, if you in a community where you're predominantly black and y'all have the majority, y'all can elect all your elected officials. All your city council people have a budget. They got items that they can put together and spend money in your community. They can build affordable housing. They do so many things that are not being done. And it's not because it's a white racist white man that's standing there telling them that they can't do it. It's because they don't give a fuck. They don't want to do it. And I think that when we start being real about it, first addressing, like, do we as black people actually utilize the power structure? Or are we sitting by and saying, well, we can never control this system? No. Slaves controlled the system. Slaves freed themselves and said, we are going to sit here and let y'all kill each other. Y'all going to die, or until y'all free us. When they started the Civil War, that was what that was about. Frederick Douglass said, we're not going to fight unless y'all free us. And they didn't. And when the Union was getting their ass kicked by the Confederacy, what happened? They said, well, we're going to do the Emancipation Proclamation. We're going to free the slaves out of the South so they'll fight for the Union. Why? Because they was getting their ass kicked. So it's not a matter of not being able to control the system. It's understanding the control system dynamics. How do you leverage yourself within this system, and how do you obtain power and control? You talk about reconstruction. Most of us say, well, this is what happened. Well, a lot of people don't realize that a lot of black people after the Civil War gave up their guns. They gave up their guns. They said, oh, you know, well, we done fighting. We'll let y'all take back what was keeping our community safe.
Okay.
So
let me make sure 7 don't have nothing, Arby. We come right to you. 7, you got something?
It becomes very apparent, you know what I'm saying, that we sitting here arguing over the enemy strategy or discussing the enemy strategy, right? And we all keep saying ain't no winning. We all keep saying this they shit, they gonna keep doing the same racist shit. But it just becomes more apparent in society how all these men who say they alpha men and all this other bullshit, right? Sit here and you see how people are mentally castrated, bro. Why the fuck are people even talking about this weak ass system? Why are we not taking this shit over? Why are y'all so scared of destroying y'all enemies that y'all want to play around with these people, bro? I don't get it. I'm sitting here listening to all this bullshit and ain't nobody talking about fighting the enemy, bro. Y'all sit here, study trying to play with these people, and you not winning. That's all I fucking hear. Everybody keeps saying, we not winning. We not winning. Nigga, you not gonna win like this, bro. These niggas did not get our land by voting, bro. These niggas did not get our land by sitting here talking about some, well, what kind of policies y'all people got on y'all? Nigga, no. They was stealing, killing, and raping. And y'all motherfuckers sit here talking about some goddamn, if this bitch walked through our neighborhood, man, fuck this bitch, bro. Nigga, bro, nobody give a fuck about any of these people. Why is y'all playing their games? Stop playing their fucking games, bro. Orby, you was fighting for the people, bro. You work for them technically if you think about it. You was killing for the man. Kill for your people. I know y'all say y'all ain't trying to talk about killing, but my man's right now here in the corner. Rico just said he's scared about his sons going outside getting killed, right? Y'all ain't doing nothing about it.
Oh,
what happened if it do happen? What happened if it do happen though? What you gonna do then?
Go on my Facebook page, because before the election, when I thought she was gonna win, I made a post and I told all the people in my hometown, touch somebody in my family, you gonna deal with me.
What make you think it's not gonna happen? Because Trump there. That's what I'm saying. This America is America, bro. Y'all steady trying to play these people games. We should be coming together, making our own government, saying fuck these people and taking over this shit. You know what I'm saying? Orby, you want to talk about some, they got these weapons. Nigga, I'd rather die a man than live like a fucking slave under these people, bro. Damn. When y'all gonna come to that conclusion?
I agree.
All right, Arby, come on with it.
Yo,
I kept my mic muted to make sure I didn't jump in there because I knew Seth was gonna get me fired the fuck up. But I'm gonna say something that's gonna probably impress you. I'm still not gonna let it go. If Kamala walked in your neighborhood by herself without her husband or her kids, somebody gonna holler at, yo, shorty, let me holler at you. But let's leave that to the back. Let's talk about forward, because as much as I enjoy going to battle with my brother, knowing at the end we still gonna stay locked up together, take care of what's ours, we gotta hit that positive part. And man, Jason, you always come through, drop a nugget, and sit on back. I'm gonna bring it back up. Plan B, goddammit. That was my first topic that I want to talk about. What's Plan B? Because guess what? No matter who you voted for or who you consider black, Chinese, or whatever, that dude is in the White House. He's got control. What are we gonna do for the next 4 years? And we had to have a Plan B. This is what I was thinking about even before I cast my vote for Kamala. Because both sides are fucked up. Let's not get it twisted. Both sides do not like us. There's one that doesn't mind telling us, I can't stand your ass. And the other one that's saying, I like you, but not so close to me. So whichever one win, we had to have a Plan B. And here's my Plan B. 7, I'm sorry, it doesn't include killing people. But what it does include is what are we going to do for us? Because we keep talking about what everybody else is doing and what everybody's not going to do for us. But the thing that we got to pull back and remember is that we're very capable doing for ourselves. We're capable of doing for ourselves. That's how we always been able to get up. It hadn't been people helping us. It wasn't people that gave us something without some kind of get back. It was us just turning each other saying, what are we going to do? So here is what I want to throw out to my brothers out there. Supporting each other in whatever the hell we doing. Now, I don't mean that as like, hey, man, I want to give you a like on your Facebook, because that does count. I don't mean like speaking to the brothers in the street saying, yo, what's up, brother? My brother, I see you. I'm here. I want us to do a little more. Now, the reason I got this shirt on is not because I like to argue with my man 7. And it's not, to put out there that, hey, I like this, so I want to wear it. This is my example of what I'm talking about. Our Plan B should be supporting everybody. If you got a podcast like Wizzo, Rico, I know you said something about that. We should be going on that. My man, that Dante, you doing something over there for the neighborhood? Even if we don't agree about Kamala being black or not, I need to see that so I can find a way to support it. Now, we're laughing, we're joking, but Wizzo know my word is my bond. Anybody that's came on here that sold a fucking book, had a t-shirt, I had a fucking powwow hat on, I tried to get that shit because I want to do more action than talk, because we can talk all day. I'm a shit talker. I used to be a recruiter in the Army, so I can talk till the cows come home. But don't shit me nut until you ready to do something. And I tie that up with fighting. If I'm gonna talk to you all day, we having a good time, nothing happens. If I get quiet and look at you and I'm walking close to you, you better get your guard up. I'm about to chin check your ass. It's not time to talk then. So what I'm saying, we need to chin check the economy by looking out for what each other doing. This shit does not have to be televised. We can have it on podcast stuff, but we gotta utilize our dollars for each other. Even if it's just something as simple as the damn shirt or a wristband, because that shit can revolve into something bigger. We talked about hip hop earlier. The reason hip hop got big back in the 80s, I'm a kid from the 70s, 1970. Hip hop started around 73. The reason hip hop got big, not because they came to us, is because they turned us away and we only had each other to deal with. And the light got so big, they wanted a piece of it.
A piece?
Yeah.
They took it all.
You know they come in. They never come in and say they're gonna take a whole thing. They always come in. Hey, brother Broham, how you? What's that? The windmill? And then they go ahead and take everything. They never come in and say they want to take everything. And that's another thing we got to watch out for. But we got to start with that light first. We got to start with that light. We need to start looking inward to each other and say, brother, what are you doing? Sister, what are you doing? And let me support that. And this is what I'm doing. Please support me. And I want to throw one more thing before I get off the mic. We talked about the alphabet people and, you know, how you don't agree with their lifestyle. And I got it, man. Nobody's ever going to agree 100% with everything. But if we have people working with the agenda we're trying to do, which is uplift our community and ours, and their allies, let's work together on that. I won't say let's work together on that. I'm going to put it to you this way. I'm going to work together with them because I know what my big picture looks like, and I yield the mic. Thanks.
All right, Jason, what you going to say, Jason? Oh.
No. Go ahead. My bad.
Okay. No, it's okay. I agree, with a lot of what Orvie just said. But to me, I always have to come, when we talk about solutions, I always have to go deeper than whatever surface level is, right? And so I do the same thing. I'm sure everybody, we support each other in those aspects that Orvie was talking about. But we have to, before we can fix anything like that, we have to understand and search, if you don't already understand, why it is that we feel that we have to do certain things. Why do I feel like, and this is just an example, even though I don't feel this way, right? But why do I, as a black man, why do I feel that I need to make enough money, go buy me a $500,000-$600,000 house in a gated community, instead of saying, let me go buy 20, 40, 50 acres and let me put 20, 30, 40 houses on there. Let me start a black neighborhood so that we can take care of each other. And it's because my thought process would generally be, well, I'm going to pay X amount or I'm going to pay Y and Z. And Rico only gave a portion of that. And here he is enjoying the same thing. Why do we have that mentality? Why did we as black people get away from that community mentality? And that is because we embraced wholeheartedly, the colonialism and the rape and murder and exploitation that happened to us as a generation of people. We've embraced that. We hugging it like Trump was hugging that flag, right? Like our thoughts and our ideas and our mentalities are just like theirs. And so as long as we stay stuck in that capitalistic mindset, that portion of the capitalistic mindset that says, I have to obtain my own and I got to be better than everybody else, we're not going to have a community mentality. Because if I got enough for a $500,000 house, that means I got enough for $500,000 houses and all of us can eat, right? And so, but we don't think that way anymore. We got away from that. And when did we get away from that? We got away from that. Everything is going to, if you play it backwards, in reverse, it's like they used to say when the devil talked to you, right? In the details when you play it in reverse, right? So you start talking about getting out of, now we don't have black neighborhoods anymore. When it was a black neighborhood, we took care of our neighbors. Right now, I'm being honest, I'm on here one of six. Some of us, including myself, we don't even know our neighbors, black or not. We throw a hand up, but we don't know his name. We don't know where he worked. We don't know how we can help him. He don't know how he can help us. We don't know these things about each other because we've embraced the further away that mentality of getting away from the black community, which is what we had was the black community. The further away we got from that, the further away we embraced those thoughts and ideas. And it's going to be even harder to get back to them because now we raising our kids to see, because we raising them by sight, right? Whether we teach them anything or not, whether we show them anything or not, they watching. And now our kids are becoming a generation who thinks the same way as we do. I got to get out here and get it. When my homeboy ain't getting it, well, too bad for him. He can eat with me when we at the table, but too bad for him. I'm not going to teach him how to fish. I got to get what I got to get. And that's what we teaching them. And so the further we can push ourselves back away from that table of colonialism, I think the closer we can get back to being a community. And that's the only way it's going to be. It's the only way it's going to happen.
Rico.
I wholeheartedly agree with what he said. But I think that our people need to go through like a reprogramming, because I believe it was Orvie who was talking about it. I have experienced some things he was talking about. Earlier this year, I ran for mayor in my hometown, trying to make change because it's real racist there, right? Lost by 20 votes throughout her paying people to vote and stuff like that, right? And after it was over, I found out through other people that people said, I lost because they didn't want to vote for me because of who I am. And they asked, have he done something to you? No, I just don't like him. It's because jealousy, envy, and being an individual is It's like in our communities. They don't want change. I was trying to make a change. Some people voted for her for like $5 and $10 or a box fan. You see that simple mind? They think, oh, I could get something free. It starts in the family, because that's where our foundation is. If we can't get our families to come back together to unify, we'll never be able to do anything together and make change anywhere in this country, let alone in small towns. But that's where it starts at.
Hey, man, I just want to say this, man. Y'all, I'm sorry, I ain't trying to jump in front of nobody.
We hear you. Go ahead. You good?
No, I just want to say this, man. A lot of the stuff that our people believe is the concepts and the mentality of our enemies. We've been indoctrinated from the time that we were children by our enemies. We are not writing enough books that are circulated. You know what I'm saying? We need to be giving our kids books written by our people. I was listening to an elder the other day, and the elder was explaining what's going on, and it threw me for a loop, really. So what the elder was saying is that none of us see the world the same, none of the races, and the reason why is because we're all genetically different. And let me explain. He was saying that an Asian man's eyes are slanted, right? So their field of vision is way different than ours. You know what I'm saying? The white man's nose is narrow, so their field of smell is different from ours. You know what I'm saying? So he was saying that when somebody cuts you off in traffic and you see them and you get mad, maybe they really didn't see you. And the thing that was so crazy and profound about that, he was saying, was that you take that traffic shit and you look at that when it comes to the world. Everybody from all the races don't see, smell, or taste the world the same. You feel me? And we're looking at the world and we're seeing it, we're smelling it, we're tasting it from the perspective of our enemies. And we have been doing that for a very long time. Our people did not have concepts of putting gates up until the enemy came over here. You know what I'm saying? When this is our land, because we're the Native Americans, I'm gonna keep saying that shit because it's true.
It is true.
We did not have gates. We had territories. Niggas could cross the territory, but when you cross that territory, you're gonna let the chief know. You know what I mean? That's how it worked. It was respect. Gates and shit like that are all the white man's concepts, man. When you go over there in Europe, you see gates around the castles and all that shit. We didn't do that shit, man. So when we're looking at that selfish mentality, that it's not from us, it's from our enemies. Our people, we had open communities, we had tribes. Nothing belonged to one single person in the tribe. We shared everything because the tribe is the family, bro. And we lost that concept because I'm gonna keep saying it, man. We're learning from our enemies. Everything we doing, you know what I'm saying? The white man will put it in your head that you gotta put your motherfucking kids out when they turn 18 because they're adults, and they will keep their motherfucking kids in their house, not paying a goddamn bill until they're goddamn 45. They don't care. We are purposely being sent down these roads, right? And we don't even understand why. We don't see what we're doing. When people be beating their kids real bad, they don't understand that that's in your genetics, bro. That shit was beat into your ancestors like that. That's a mentality. You know what I'm saying? We don't see past these programs because none of our elders were smart enough to see past these programs to keep it going, to tell them. They just kept on doing bullshit because they thought it was right. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to go too hard on them, but they didn't know no fucking better. You know what I'm saying? We have to learn outside this shit. And that's why Rico and Orby saying that we need to be reconditioned is true. Because everything we've ever learned from the time that we even started to learn anything has been from our enemies.
Yeah.
On this continent, 100%. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you how deep it runs. And a lot of people don't even realize this, right? All of us, whether you're a homeowner or a renter, and you take care of your lawn, right? You got it manicured up. It's nice and green and it's plush. And I'm telling you that the reason that even exists, you can look it up for yourself, is because rich white people in Europe during medieval times started growing a lawn to say, look how rich I am. I can grow grass on my property that's not even for any use. I'm not going to eat it. It's not going to bear vegetables. It's not going to do anything but look good. It's a stunt. It's a flaunt, right? And now all the black people that's got a house got a beautiful lawn. You see what I'm saying? Like that shit is racism, and we don't even understand that we acting it out. We playing this whole thing out for them, and the people that matter sit back laughing at us. He's 100% right on a lot of what he just said. And so the reprogramming has got to be us going into ourselves and into our learning patterns and saying, why do I think that? Because I'm gonna tell you, the biggest fight you're gonna have is if you talk to somebody about their religion, you start talking about their Jesus or their Christianity or whatever religion they are, you might as well get ready for a fight. But then when you start asking where we got that from and you play that back, then you'll start seeing the truth.
Yes.
Already.
Hey, listen, my man said the yard. I just want to add one thing real quick. My man said the yard, the brainwashing also come in that a lot of this shit that's in your front yard that you think is weeds is actually medicine. Motherfuckers don't even be knowing that shit. That's all I want to say, brother.
Yeah, you're right.
Go ahead, Deontay.
I say, you got to temper that, because I think too much of what's natural to humans we attribute to white superiority or white indoctrination. Like the slaves that were sold by their own people. Ghana got a number of slave castles where they held captive slaves. The Domi tribe was a big tribe that enslaved other Africans and sold them to the white Europeans. So these concepts of interwarring between black groups is not unique. It's not a result of slavery. It's not a result of white colonialization. They had slaves back in the time of Kemet, Egypt, enslaving other black people, enslaving, like, so these concepts of like that where we think that, oh, this is because we were indoctrinated by the white plantation. No, these are just things that human beings exhibit. Human beings are jealous of one another. Human beings see if you in a certain community, like we do it right now in the hood. If you on the north side and you ain't living on the east side, you coming over here, we getting into it. It ain't got nothing to do with indoctrination, slave plantation. This is just people. This is what people do when they congregate and they create their own tribes. The tribes over here, Native American tribes, was warring and fighting with each other. The 5 slave-holding tribes, the Cherokee, the Muskogee, the Creek, the Seminole, and what's the other 2? I forget the other 2. But they were slaveholders. They held in captive slaves too. So these are not ideas or concepts that are unique to white people. These are things that we have to address like internally within people in general. And I think that when we say that, oh, it's white indoctrination, we give white people more power than what they really have. We give them more superiority than what's really there. Because a lot of the things that happened because other blacks supported and helped white people to do it. And so it like I say, it's not a matter to where I want to blame everything on a boogeyman white man that's just standing behind every black person that does something fucked up to our community. Nah, it's black people do fucked up shit to each other all the time, every day, all day. And we got to address that, not from the lens of perspective saying, oh, that's just a trauma of white colonialism and that's a trauma of slave. No, that's just being a person and you not doing right. And let's address it because you have power to control and change what's in your immediate environment and community.
Okay, Ari, what's up?
I just want to share something because, again, I'm going to keep saying this. It's beautiful that we have different aspects that we bring to the table because it gives us the opportunity to see where we're not meeting and seeing where the intersection is. Now, everything that I've heard about, like the lawn and stuff that comes from mimicking what white people have done, facts are facts, man. We can go back and see that with the lawn. But I will say this, just because we can trace it back to them and we have that knowledge doesn't mean that we have to totally discard it because anything we do, we usually make it better. Yeah, they might have had the lawns great, but we're the ones that made it better, lining it up and stuff. And we didn't do that for them per se. And now I'm talking about from my experience. Because I'm not gonna give up my lawn. My yard is my heart. You know, I do that because I grew up understanding from my elders that, hey, young black man, you need to dress straight. Don't be spitting on the sidewalk. Keep the lawn clean and manicured. Not because we're trying to impress the white man. No, this is because this represents who we are. When we clean that car, we don't clean it for the white man. We clean it because it represents who we are. So when we talk about the stuff, I don't think we should act like this is not where it came from. We should not pretend that, oh, this stuff didn't come from Europe and stuff. No, we'll be shortchanging ourselves. But just because we know that doesn't mean we got to discard it because it was from them. We need to have that knowledge. And this is where I think our moving forward is going to be faster with knowledge. As long as we have an understanding of where that came from, we can manipulate it how we want it to work for us, not how they try to intend for them to have us work for them. So the last thing I want to say, because I keep getting back to what we're talking about with building everything, I want to share what I'm doing because, man, again, talking about that property and buying lands, everything, Jason. But what we used to do before is also equally important. A lot of people don't want to go to the hood because they're scared of it. And the further you get away from it, the more scared. But when you start investing in it, you can change that fear mindset because knowledge is power. When I go back home to Louisiana, because I hate to say it, man, Southside is jacked. I can't change shit over there where we're from. But in Louisiana, I got my great-grandmother's house, right? And when I got that house, my brother and I started having family reunions every year, whether people come or not. We're not having some kind of packet for them to buy. We put our money in for the T-shirts. We cook the food. And the only thing we require is you come over there, break bread, show love. A lot of people are getting away from that because they try to capitalize. Hey, you want to come to the family reunion, you got to get the $300 packet. We got to go on the boat. Why you got to go on the boat? You know what our family reunion consists of? A fucking big-ass speaker, a water slide, barbecue, all kind of crawfish and stuff, and 2 days of just being there, fellowship with each other. And it's not just for our family as far as the DNA. This should be the family in the neighborhood. Because, Seven, you know exactly where I'm going with this. When we had block parties back in the 70s and 80s in Chicago, everybody on that block party not only knew each other, they knew the kids, they knew where they was going to, they knew who was doing good and who wasn't doing good because we got together every summer. That was law. That's been lost. You can't see that anymore. So when I start talking about how I'm going to do something to make a change, it's those little things that used to keep us together and build on those.
All right, let me say this right here, then I want to jump on one other thing. Jason, when you said that about grass, I'm going to say this right here. My kids know I used to tell them, keep off my grass, because I used to like my grass green. I used to tell them I want green, pretty white folk grass. Sometimes in the black neighborhood, they wouldn't. I don't want my damn water bill going up. Don't water that damn grass, shit like that. So my grass stay clean, it stay edged up, and it stay perfectly. And I like me some pretty. As I used to tell them, I wanted some white folk grass because they kept their shit. They didn't worry about their water bill. And just to touch on, I think Seven said something about reading, and I didn't write down everything, but it is so hard right now, and I don't know about any other race or whatever. I'm just talking about for the black race to read. When I worked in Iraq, I think it was in 2007, the phone wasn't as popular, but movies were, because we can go over here to the shop and we get one CD and it had the whole goddamn series of everything on there, And I got away from that, and then I started reading. I started back reading and started reading, and now today I'm reading. I done read Arvy book. Arvy didn't turn me on the toy book. I didn't read her book. I done read, and that was a good motherfucker. And I read this other book about this other lady. So I've been doing a lot of reading. But just to touch base, it is so hard, and I don't know why it is. But back in the day, we couldn't read, and now that we can read, you find more people of color. I don't know about whites and Hispanics and all that. I don't know. I'm just talking about us as for what I know, that we don't hardly read. Even some of the grown-ups, some of the kids, they don't even want to fucking pick up a book and read. They want everything talking to them now. They don't want to read the directions or nothing. And then to touch on one other thing about support. RBS, you support, you buy this, you do that, you do whatever in the community. I reached out to Deontay before about a couple of things and asked him about some different I think it was grants and different things, whatever, about support. And he was willing to help. And we have to find out at what point, what time, where we can all support one another and not hate. And I don't know if hate is the correct word or not, or be jealous or whatever. What's up, Rice, Mark, and all y'all in the comments? I appreciate you guys watching and checking it out. But some point we got to get some support out in there for one another. And it's like I may go up to this, and I'm not a black business owner. I don't have a business, but sometime when I'll be looking at the TikTok videos and they call in the boycott the Latino businesses and Hispanic businesses, stuff like that, you'll see a lot of black people in South at the taco truck buying the tacos, whatever. But I just wonder, and I don't know how many Hispanics do you see in this black person's t-shirt shop or this black person's shoe shop or whatever. We've always known that the and I may say it wrong and somebody may get pissed, but I don't give a fuck. The Koreans or the Filipinos or whatever, they hire their own in there, whatever, and sometimes you go, how many of them do you see in this black shop or whatever? So I'm just touching that as a point, just on the support thing. Sometimes, and it's just my personal opinion, and after I finish this, I'll go around and let everybody make a comment before we go to our next topic. It's just that I don't really see the support there. Maybe we made a little ground, but I see a lot of, I don't know, dislike. Fuck that motherfucker. I ain't buying shit from him. His prices is too high. Bobby Tunde in Killeen used to have a bookstore. It was called Under One Roof. And he said, to whom you give your money is to whom you give your power. He used to say, I can't keep up with the prices of Walmart. But you know what, though? You'll catch these people going into, and I've done it. I'll stop in 7-Eleven, or let me say it like I said, 7-Eleven. And you know that shit is fucking high. You're going to stop in the corner store. You're going to stop at all them motherfuckers, and you're not saying that they shit is fucking high. But yet you go over here to this black business, and you saying his t-shirt is $25. I ain't getting that nigga my money. Y'all excuse me because I don't say nigga, but I'm saying it for my point. I ain't getting that nigga my money, whatever. But you go shop and support every goddamn body else. But you won't go over here and support that black business because you saying his shit is too high, and you ain't saying that about none of them other motherfuckers. He can't keep up with HEB, 7-Eleven, and all them big box names and Amazon. Support him. I got people that don't want to watch my podcast, but they're watching Joe Rogan and a couple of them other motherfuckers. I can't even think of their name. I'm not meaning saying bad calling them motherfuckers, but you're watching them. Well, I got you guys on here right now talking about different things. Joe Rogan, what's that black guy name?
Which one?
It has a podcast, the bald head one or whatever, but I forgot his name.
It's Marquell.
I can't think his name.
O'Shea.
I can't think of his name, but I just say this. He's on there. He have different guests. They giving their point of views. They talk about blase. What make his guest any better than my guest right here? I'm listening to you guys talking. You guys is knowledgeable in a whole bunch of shit. Yeah, I'm not talking about Shannon Sharp, Mark, but I know him on there too. But his name will come to me in the look. No, I don't know what his name is. Roland Martin, I think.
Oh, Roland Martin.
Roland Martin. Yeah, and so a lot of people watch it, but I'm just talking about support, But I will say this, and then I'm gonna go on and see if anybody got some comments before we go to our next thing. My podcast has grown, and I thanks to a lot of my viewers and a lot of my subscribers and things like that. I'm up to like 700 and some subscribers. Jason and some other guys, I made a short, and it did over 30-some thousand views. But yet did they go watch the whole thing? Probably not. They just listened to that short because I shared it with Jason, and they judged everything by that fucking short instead of going to watch to see what the whole thing was about. But shorts is what's happening and what's trending because people patience is so long. I fucking hate going through the drive-through, but people will go through that drive-through because that's the American way. They go through that drive-through and they want to get shit and they want to keep going. They want to drive and they want to eat. But I'm getting on something else. Anybody have anything over before we go to our next little discussion?
No, I'm good.
Hey man, I wanted to say a lot of the reason why a lot of the young youth doesn't really like to read is because a lot of things have been handed to them so easily as to where they don't really even have to read anymore. You can gather a lot of information from the internet without having to read a one word. You know what I mean? So books, are kind of outdated to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? It's like the younger people, like you talk to them about, it's almost like talking about like writing a check or a VHS. A lot of these young motherfuckers don't want to read them. Like you said, a lot of people attention spans are a lot shorter. So you think about reading a fucking 500-page book. A lot of these young people don't even want to look at that kind of shit, man, let alone think about it.
Well, a lot of them listening. Oh,
no, it's fine.
Let me let Jason go. Go ahead, Jason.
I was going to respond to that because I was very, 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 very intentional with my son about letting him see me read. Like a lot of time the TV was off. I'm sitting in the living room and my lazy boy with a book open. And so that became the normal in my house. And then the older he got, hey, I'm going to recommend this book to you. Hey, pick up that Quran, pick up that Bible, pick up that Torah, like learn about these things instead of being told what things are. And you read, and now he reads on a regular basis. I continue to read on a regular basis. I think a large part of that is what we have to do. That falls on us as parents. And like we have to be very intentional about creating readers. I mean, the national average, regardless of race, is like reading on an 8th grade level. So that's crazy, right? Then you start breaking it down by race, and it really worse. Becomes eye-opening. Exactly. It's very much worse. So I think a lot of that falls on us as parents. And then I think a lot of that falls on us as the men, as the leaders. Whether you invested in a family that you create and you're gonna pour a little water in it to make your kids with them your kids, or you have your original family that you created, and it's on us to put that in there.
Yeah, I see you, Arby, but Deontay was about to say something, I believe, a while ago. So let me see if he had something.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna say, just speaking from a young person's perspective, I ain't young, but I'm young enough that a lot of things, when you look at a book is just somebody telling you their thoughts, and they just wrote it down so you can read it. So when you don't need a book to learn information, and that's like the hardest part I think that a lot of the older generation have with trying to connect with younger people. Younger people like, look, I can open up my phone, glance through some documents, and then I can press play, and it's gonna play a podcast, it's gonna play a YouTube video, it's gonna play this or this or that. And it's still the same thing. It's still getting somebody else's perspective on how the world works. And that's what we got to be able to do, is that you got to be able to relate to this young generation who have access to technology where they can get things at the push of a button, at the drop of a dime. They don't got to go to the library. They don't got to go this. Back in the ancient times, they used to sit in crowds and they would talk because they didn't have no printing press. So they just talked about whatever was going on. That's the same thing that young people are doing now. They just use TikTok. They talk to they use Snapchat, all these kind of things. And when you learn that is the way that the next generation is going to communicate, they're not going to go back to reading. So, I mean, I can see why people want to hold on to it, but it's going to become obsolete. So you got to figure out how to educate people within capturing their attention. The first 15 seconds of your video, you capturing their attention. You bringing them to something that they want to know more about. And then they'll go and explore it.
All right, let me come to Ari, and then I'm gonna come over here and see if Rico got something. Then I'm gonna say one other thing or something. Go ahead, Ari.
Okay, this is not about the young against the old. And I'm definitely representing old head. It's 54, but I don't consider myself old. I'm just seasoned, and I just want to explain my point of view about the books. It's not so much about sitting down and reading, because I grew up on Scholastic Scope. I grew up on shiny books that gave me a lot of knowledge about the world I didn't get to see yet. But let's talk about the books versus TikTok. There's a lot of stuff that's going into TikTok that might be true, might not be true, but it's catching their attention. And I'm not saying that the kids are not learning, because, man, the y'all generation, I can say y'all, because unless you in the 50s, it's y'all and us. Y'all are amazing with technology. But when the power goes out, what happens? Or when they change something, what happens? Because the reason why I'm so into reading is not just because it's pleasurable for me, but I see information slowly being faded away. I have books right now that you can't find on social media. There's pertinent information about our history that we need now, but you're not going to find it on PBS and stuff. That's intentional. Now, I'm not saying that the internet stuff is the devil. I am not saying that we should do that, but if you have a book, now we're talking about reference. I don't want y'all to learn the Dewey Decimal System like me, but I'm talking about reference. You can get that and cross-reference that with what's being put out there now, and you can decide for yourself, is this some real shit or is some bullshit? But I will tell you, those books from the past, especially books that's written by people like me, for me, there's a whole lot of truth in there that you will never see out there because intended to fade away. So please still keep the TikTok and stuff, but I would like y'all to do a TikTok on some of the books that I have.
All right, Jason, let me see what Rico did. We're going to come back to you, Jason, because I wanted to see if Rico had something over there.
Oh, I was just going to say to Deontay and Jason, I kind of agree with you both, but what I took from what Jason said about reading the books is the fact he said, if you're reading the books, in order to read the book, you got to put that phone down, that computer down, because, and what you say, we are going towards a digital age and these things are going to be obsolete. But think about the things that's on these Snapchat, Facebook, TikTok. Most of these kids, if they don't know how to read, they believe everything that they see on that screen. And that's one of the things I try to tell the people. Don't believe that. Do some research. Go read for yourself. So the reading is the very basic thing. They didn't want slaves to read because if you can read, then you have knowledge. Knowledge is what he say is power. So right. You have to stick with the reading.
I think that works under the presumption.
Hold up, Deontay. Hold up a second. You gotta let him finish, and then Jason
I was done.
Okay. All right, Jason. Then Dante, we come back to you.
Well, I was going to comment again on what I said. I understand that a man wrote a book, right? But like, you have to comprehend, you have to do research, you have to read multiple books. You have to, even like Rico just said, you see something on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, you should be going to research that stuff, and you should be able to run that stuff down and decide whether that stuff is fact or not. Because a lot of the stuff that's even in our public system curriculum is lies, is false information, right? And so you have to go get things, and you have to go. Now, if you don't know how to do, like Rice was saying in the comments, if you don't know how to do the critical thinking, and you don't know how to read things and comprehend what you're reading and how to make that take you down a different road, then it's something else. And to what Deontay was saying, I will never placate to adult or child that has a limited comprehension because they so used to everything right now. Like, I'm not going to do that. If you can't sit through me having a conversation with you and teaching you something and it's long and detailed, then I'm not going to, because that's going to build intelligence and that's going to build the wherewithal to be able to not be just told anything. If I got to reach you in 15 seconds, I'm probably not going to reach you. Like, I'm not going to bend over on what I think about something, because what I need you to do is to and that is, I don't know your age, Deontay, and you may be the same age as me, but I know in my industry and on my job, we running into right now the younger generation in the 20s to 30 range, right? They getting hired and they can't comprehend what we doing every day. They can't keep up with a lot of information. So the company bought everybody. I'm talking about 45,000 people. They bought an iPad and put all the books and stuff that we supposed to know and loaded it in this iPad. And these dudes still don't know how to do. They get the job and 3 months later they fired or they didn't quit because they can't keep up. That's part of the problem. And so I'm not gonna change, and I don't think that we should change. I understand adaptation to technology growing and all of that. I mean, I'm 45, so I'm of the age group. We were the first internet users. We were the first computer users, right? So I'm okay with the growth of technology, but I don't think the technology should take away the level of comprehension that I need to have in order to dictate what kind of knowledge base I have. Because people say to me all the time, how do you remember that? How do you remember that? I read it in a book.
Yeah.
It didn't change. It's not going to change. And if it does change, I got a book to go to and look at that thing and see why it changed or where the change came from or who put their name beside the change to tell me that was changing. That's just my opinion.
All right. Deontay, hold up, Seb. Let me hit Deontay, then we come to Seb.
No, I was just going to say that there seems to be like a presumption that comprehension is based off of reading. Comprehension is based off of you being able to process the information that's given to you and create and connect dots to it. It don't have nothing to do with reading. People who don't know how to read can comprehend very well. Blind people have great comprehension because they can hear what you're telling them and they can connect those dots. So when you think that something is connected only to this one format of learning or intelligence, there's a flaw in that. And there are 6 different types of intelligence. You got kinetic intelligence, you got musical intelligence, you got reading intelligence, and all those things can demonstrate themselves whether someone can read or not. There are a lot of, our great grandfathers who could not read, but they understood arithmetic. They understood how to go out and do this. They understood how to work with their hands. They understood these things, how to survive, even if they could not read. So I don't think that we need to subject the intelligence level of a community based on their ability to read. No, it's the ability to adapt to and understand information, no matter what format it's in. And I don't think that that's what's lost. I think that when people look at a lot of young people, they don't know how to teach them in a way that their intelligence strong suit is. And that's the thing that we have a lot of times in our community. There's a lot of the disconnect because I know my little boy right now can't read, but if I tell him, hey, I give him something, hey, go put this in the trash. He know where the trash can is because he's seen it. He's adapted to his ability to learn whether he can read or not. And that shows comprehension, that shows understanding, that shows intelligence. And I think that when we look at things from that larger perspective and say, how do we create these books? Because like y'all said, a lot of these books ain't written, or they exist in the audio format. You can go and search these digital archives on the vast majority of books. Why? Because they already digitally archived it. And you just got to go online and find it. And you can instruct someone in these courses on TikTok. Make 30-second videos that kids can get 30-second teaching. That's more so ego that will say, I'm not going to bend around you and I'm not going to change myself and what my comfort zone is to educate you and make sure you get information. And that's not a problem of people, but more so indicative of an individual's format or process of thinking.
I got to go to 7. Oh, don't forget, JC, I got to go to 7 because 7 was wanting to say something.
Man, I just want to add, because some of the stuff that he was saying, I was going to say, but I just want to add to it. There are several different learning styles. Our public school systems do not operate on those learning styles. They only operate on one learning style. A person doesn't technically need to learn how to read to learn. But if you are the type of parent who reads a lot of books and you see that your child is not the type of person who wants to read books, why are you not raising that child with the information that you already have? Why are you not applying that in that child's life? Like my man said, his kid didn't have to read about a garbage can to know what a garbage can was. At the same time, if you're reading all these books yourself, you should be raising your child with that knowledge being applied. Your child won't have to read a book. I don't think that we think about generational wealth the correct way. When we learn, we give it to our children. Our children, that should be basic knowledge. Whatever we learn should be basic knowledge for our children. You see what I'm saying? Anything you learn, you know what I'm saying? Anything from any job. If you didn't have cooking jobs, you should be teaching your child this from the time that they motherfucking starting to walk, how to do the things that you've learned. So this could be basic knowledge to them. We don't pass information on to our children the correct way. We give them a lot of our traumas, but we don't give them a lot of our victories. We really have to change that. Because it should be no reason why whatever knowledge you've read in the book, your child shouldn't be raised up knowing. You know what I'm saying? In the Native American history, they didn't really have books like that, bro. We really had more of a verbal tradition. We told stories. A lot of our lessons were learned through those stories. And then they didn't really change them like that either. You know what I'm saying? Like how people alter things now, people kept stories the same way. They didn't alter it like that. And people learn through teaching people how to do things. You know what I'm saying? So we got to really get out of the thing where we just think people need books. Books are important to kids who can learn like that. Some people are visual learners. What do you do with them? You know what I'm saying? They can comprehend some shit, but they might not want to read it. You know what I'm saying? It's really important for us to understand this because a lot of people can read and can't comprehend. I seen motherfuckers read college books and didn't understand shit they were saying. You know what I'm saying? Any motherfucker can sound out a word, but do you know what the word means? You know what I'm saying? We really need to get into a different format of teaching because then we'll start to see that these children are a lot more intelligent than you ever think. I seen somebody put in the comments that they were saying it's a difference between watching a movie, right, and reading a book. That's true. You know what I'm saying? That's true. The movie will be completely different. They may not even follow the book. I just seen plenty of motherfuckers in high school fail tests because the teacher's like, "Did you read the book?" And the nigga watched the movie. Then we took the test on that shit, and the nigga failed it because it wasn't the same at all. That's the dumbest shit ever. You know
yeah, it was. Like, he was not very bright.
Let me hear what Jason got to say. Then we go flip. We go change gears.
Okay, I just wanted to say. I wanted to say he made the comment about ego, and Seven made a comment about what do you do with these learners, right? That maybe reading isn't their strong suit. We all know people. We all have anecdotal evidence to prove that people can learn and people are intelligent. I'm not saying that reading or not reading makes you a more or less intelligent person. I'm saying that the skills that reading brings in the society that we live in are important. There's not high-level successful non-readers. That doesn't exist in any westernized society, right? Like in any westernized society, unfortunately, because I know, and I have family members who I consider some of the most intelligent people that I know, period, hands down, that can teach me all day long, but they're not readers. Right. And so you're not going to reap the benefits of not being a reader or being a writer. Most of these kids can't even write their name. They know how to print their names. They know how to do it in block, straight lines. They can't write in cursive. They don't teach that anymore. They can't write their names. They can't write you a paper. They don't know the difference between printing your name and writing your name. And I've seen it with my own eyes. Yeah. So I'm not saying that as a compass for a level of intelligence. I'm saying that from an area of what type of skills that are being lost in the shuffle of technology and in the shuffle of learning about ourselves from ourselves. Like you're saying, sitting around telling stories was the way. I agree. But now anybody that would have told me a story when I was a kid, they dead and gone now. Now, what if they had put it in writing? And even if I'm not the one that can read it, what if somebody can read it to me and explain to me what they meant or what was happening, right? So it's still very important. I'm not going to back off of that. It's cool.
All righty. Well, damn. Y'all, I'm going to tell y'all, you just don't never know what the fuck you going to get right here on Barbershop Talk. We started out talking about Trump, the great white man. We talked about grant support, every goddamn thing. But that's what happens in the barbershop. You just don't never know what you're going to get in the barbershop. You're sitting over there, you're getting your hair cut, and the barber might take your ass any goddamn where. But I want to just reel us back to just one thing right here and just ask you guys, and I appreciate everybody watching right now and the ones in the comment. We appreciate y'all sharing. You know, it's free to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate your support. But just to ask you guys about some of Trump top cabinets pick, and I just want to ask about the Secretary of Defense. And I think his name was Pete Hegseth or something. I might be saying that wrong. The Fox anchor. Yeah. I mean, as Secretary of Defense. So I just want to get some feedback on what do you guys think? I mean, I think he served in the military. I think he was like a major. Okay, we're going to come to you right after this, Rico. I think he was like a major, I believe. But I know he also talked about women in combat. He really didn't support women in combat or anything like that. So just see some comments about that. Go ahead, Rico.
My thing is, I'm wondering why they don't tell what his rank was. By them saying he was in the military, but they don't put his rank. That to me, that says he didn't have a lot of rank. So how can this guy be the Secretary of Defense? The Secretary of Defense, you plan wars, you strategy, you do all these different things, and you stop them as well. I've watched Fox News because I believe if you watch your enemy, you learn something. I listen to their radio. That dude is about as much of an idiot as Trump. Look at this Attorney General pick. He's putting people in power that are just like him, that are going to agree with him. But that guy from Fox News, if he becomes the Secretary of Defense, we should be very, very scared. And I'm going to leave it with that.
Okay. Anybody comments on that?
I'll go. It's so much bigger than that, right? Like nobody that he's picking for anything is very competent at the job that he's choosing them to do. Now that is by design, right?
Exactly.
Because what he's done, and we saw in the run up to the election with Project 2025, but what he's doing is setting up a situation where the only thing that matters is loyalty to him.
Yep.
He's setting up a system where whatever he says goes. He's setting up a system where as long as you show me that you've been my day one, then I got a job for you, right? Yep. And so it's not going to matter what that man's rank was, because he's going to do whatever Trump tells him to do. So if Trump tells him it's going to be a war, it's going to be a war. If Trump tells him it's not going to be a war, it's not going to be a war, right? Yep. And so the reality is all of these distractions, whether they come from the Trump administration or they come from the Democratic Party or the Republican Party and all this other stuff that they have us as voters arguing about, right? It's always a distraction. There's always something more important going on. If I am looking out my window and I see a gun battle going on, I start walking around my house to see if I can smell smoke, right? Like something is going on, because that's a diversion for me, right? And so if you start looking on the world stage at the things that really matter right now, that are very important to us as United States citizens, whether we choose to be or we're forced to be, then you'll see real quick that all this other stuff, all this extra stuff that's going on is all a distraction. Nobody is on TV asking these politicians about the BRICS alliance and the countries that keep joining. They up to like 24 or 34 countries. Nobody's asking about China's Belt and Road Initiative and all these things that really matter. Nobody's asking about the fact that the dollar is going down and about to be obsolete and what we're going to do about it. Nobody's talking about the fact that we don't have leverage like we normally do to just liberate somebody and get back on track, right? We can't start a war and go liberate nobody right now. We don't have that kind of control anymore. And I'm going to tell you something else about me personally being a big guy. 3 or 4 or 5 or 15 little guys, they're going to kick my ass, right? So if you got these countries getting together saying F America, yes, at some point, with all the weapons we have, Orvie, ain't going to fix that when everybody bands together against us. You see what I'm saying? That's a problem. They acting like, look at the distraction of Israel and Palestine right now. That's all about that canal. That's all about the Suez Canal, because once they get the Suez Canal, now the BRICS Alliance can come in and get the Belt and Road Initiative off the ground, right? That cuts out America. They don't want to use the Panama Canal anymore. Who owns the Panama Canal? The United States. You see what I'm saying? So you got to look at all this other stuff. So all these picks and all this stuff that we talking about, all these arguments we having as citizens, and I always say it, and I say it tongue in cheek a lot, but it means something to me personally. If voting for president really mattered, they wouldn't let us do it.
Yeah.
All right. Ari, go ahead.
I got the All-American got a call out from Jason. And I want you to hear me loud and clear, Jason. I'm talking directly to you, man.
Okay.
You are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. This is where my fear is, because the reason America has been great, and I see Mark McNeil jumping in there. I don't know his military background, but I got 20 years active duty experience. The reason America has been great is because we've been able to put our fingers in everybody's stuff and have some kind of substance with them so we can ask for favors and give favors. Dude, we cannot be an isolationist country. Yes, and you're right. We do have a lot of weapons. We got all the good stuff. But it don't mean a damn thing if we getting pot shots by 5, 10, 15, or let's be honest, right now that number's like 23 that we got to swing on. So I'm always going to be the All-American. I'm always going to be proud of our service members. And what's the name? Pete Hesgex. Thank you for your service, but you're not qualified, dude, because number one, this dude was in the National Guard and he got to go visit shit. I don't know if he ducked bullets like me, but his time doesn't compare to those generals that usually get those positions. People that's been in the military 40, 50 years of their life. Those are the ones that really know what's going on. This guy getting put in is like damn Boy Scouts taking over the goddamn NYCD police force. It's not right.
It's not.
That's where my fear is, because we are having all this funny shit going on in America, But globally, we are losing our light. People are not looking at us the way they used to.
Yep.
They're actually saying, you know what? America ain't all that. Why don't we do our little huddle over here? That's dangerous for us. That is dangerous for us. So when we talk about all this stuff, I don't care about Trump entertaining ass. But what I do care is what our footprint on the globe is going to be, because it's shrinking.
Yes.
If you go to Europe, if you go to Africa, if you go to any other continent and look back, it's not going to look as strong as it used to.
Yeah.
That's a problem. But that was for you, Jason.
Go ahead, Jason.
And so we're in agreement, right? We're in agreement. And
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell you where these countries that are joining the BRICS Alliance and the countries that are teaming up with Russia and China, if everybody didn't realize they're best friends, they are. I don't know how they would miss that, but those are best friends, right? And Trump respects them both. Right. So that's something else. But anyways, where they are winning these other countries is because the world stage is tired of what they call the bullying of the United States of America in their countries, because it's like, OK, I'm going to help you, or I'm going to give you this money, or I'm going to give you this resource. Right. But this is what you have to do for me. This is what you have to change. And China and Russia are going to these countries like they did in, I think it was Uganda, and said, we want to build an airport here so we could trade here. We don't need any of your money. And we don't care how many gay people you kill. We don't care how many laws you make to say that gay people can't get married. We don't care about that. That's your business. All we care about is your money, and we want to make money with you, and we want to join in resources with you. And these countries are saying, okay, they got us so caught up in these moral arguments and all this stuff. Listen, like you were talking about earlier, like Rico was talking about earlier with the alphabet people and all this kind of stuff, that does not matter to me at all. That doesn't bother my bank account. That doesn't bother my address. That doesn't bother the E or the F in my truck. You see what I'm saying? That means nothing to me. What matters to me is the stuff of substance. And they go into these countries with substance, Russia and China, and these other ones are saying, all we care about is the substance. We don't care what you do morally. That's your business. We're trying to thrive, and we want to take over, and we want to shuffle America down the road. And it's happening. And none of these politicians that want to argue and want us arguing about abortion and LGBTQ and all this other racism and all this other stuff they got us arguing about, that's all a smoke screen. That's got nothing to do with the important stuff.
Hey, Jason, would you agree? Oh, I'm sorry.
I need to see if somebody else got something. I'll come back to you, Arvin.
All right.
You got something? If you don't have one, then that's cool. We may have lost you because we covered a lot.
Man, a lot of this shit is about money and control of global resources. And a lot of that stuff, I look at it like when you think about China and India and Russia, these are nations that have built their industrial complex and industry on American trade and trading with America and America's allies. They're countries that even if they wanted to not use the American dollar, they couldn't, because you have hundreds of thousands of Chinese factories that employ hundreds of thousands millions, not hundreds of thousands, millions of Chinese citizens right now today are building iPhones. So if you don't have a trade agreement where you building iPhones, whose phones are you going to be building, and who's going to be globally consuming those? And I think that when we look at the military industrial complex, it's to reinforce the economic global resource control mechanism. And these countries talk about these kind of things. They talk about this, but it's really so, hey, America, we just want you to let up on some of these smaller countries that you've been dominating so we can get a piece of their resources too. That's all it is. China's been pushing into Africa to get over it, get control over those mines, get control over those industry and infrastructure. Russia's been doing the same thing in the Southeast Asian nations, trying to control the Argon and something else. They want to control that over in Ukraine. So it's a lot of this shit, like you said, it ain't about morality. It ain't about supporting this country over that country. The moral, all of these things is just scapegoats and cover-ups to say that, hey, we need these smaller countries because they got resources that we want to control on a global scale so that we can have global power and say so. That's all it is.
All right, let me come to Arvin, and then we're going to hear Rico and Seven. Arvin, go ahead.
I think we're talking about the same thing. I just wanted to hit Jason on this, that Doesn't this seem like King of the Hill? Since World War
Absolutely.
II, America's been King of the Hill. And I'm going to tell
Absolutely.
you, this situation didn't start with Trump. This started when we were playing hardball with the countries in Africa. And I think it's 17, not just one, where we told them, hey, you're going to either do it our way or we'll just turn our back on you. And China slid right up in there and said,
exactly.
What? You need a dam? Hey, I'll build you a mega dam. You need an airport? I'll give you 3 airports. Matter of fact, y'all need sewage. Y'all need high-speed train. Why the hell countries in Africa have a high-speed train and America doesn't?
Thank you.
It's because China's been playing the long game. And all these other smaller countries, even some of our friends like Korea, they've been coming up strong. People haven't been paying attention to it. But when's the last time you seen a Zenith TV?
Shit.
It's been a while.
When's the last time you seen GE run anything? Everything's coming out of Korea. If it's not Kia or Hyundai, it's Samsung. And guess what? When you go over there to Korea, they would tell America, hey, you can't sell that Cadillac over here. 20 years ago, they couldn't do that. The reason them and other countries are doing that, because you're right. They've gotten tired of the big bully complex. And instead of us paying a fucking attention to people growing up, we're like, no, we're always America. They're going to do this. And that's what China, Russia, and all these other outlier elements are starting to bring people together. And the reason that Trump is the linchpin to this, like you said earlier, he's friends with all these motherfuckers. You think he's going to go over there and say, hey, I see what you're doing. He's going to be like, I see what you're doing. What's in it for me, baby?
Yeah.
That's the fear.
Mark Cuban said that too about him.
Yep.
Rico, go ahead.
Babylon is falling and America is Babylon. All of this is right out of the Bible. People, look, they're tired of us being the bully. They're tired of us being the bully. That BRICS, I've been telling people forever, the dollar is going to crash. We're about to go through not to a recession, a depression. Everything is going to collapse. The dollar is, first of all, it's fiat currency. It's not backed by anything other than the belief people have in it. That is all that it is. The digital currency is the future. Most people don't understand that because I'm going to go back to Deontay. Oh, wait. Who was that said that about not Deontay? Because they ain't reading, Deontay. That's why they don't understand.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Young people been on cryptocurrency, digital currency. That's a lie.
Hold up, Deontay. You gotta let him finish. Deontay, you gotta let him finish. You gotta let him finish. You gotta let him finish. We can't talk at one time.
Yeah, if with Orby, it's like he said, you've been to Iraq, I've been to Iraq, I've been to Afghanistan. It's always been about resources. I've literally been in Iraq and seen where a village was getting attacked, but we guarding this pipeline and we like, hey, we gonna go attack. They say, no, don't you leave that damn pipeline. We watch people die to protect a pipeline. Come on now. I try to tell my people these things. They call me a conspiracy theorist. I'm like,
right.
I was there.
Right.
I see these things coming. They don't want to believe us. But when they do realize that what I was telling them is true, it's going to be too late.
Too late.
Yeah.
Let me come to 7 and then Deontay, we'll let you go. We got to remember we can only talk at one time. I know we get excited. We're ready to jump in. But if we all get to chattering, can't nobody hear nothing. So let's just work with the order. So 7, go ahead. Then we're going to hit Deontay up.
And man, it's funny as hell when motherfuckers strike a note because you know another motherfucker is gonna they gotta say some shit. Or he got his triggers too. He be over there. That shit be funny as hell, man. Nah, man, but let me get to the point though. On some real shit though. And man, listen, people out here, the enemies of you, which y'all think is America, them niggas don't hate us, dog. They hate the government. You know what I'm saying? Fuck the government. We gotta stop paying these taxes, bro. That's first and foremost. I know y'all love paying these taxes, man. Take the money out of these people's hands that's building these weapons, making them enemies. I know y'all was gonna find that funny, but what you don't realize is your tax money, the same motherfucking all those billions that came up missing, is what's building these missiles and shit, making the enemies. You know what I'm saying? That they sending your kids to war to fight to die for. You feel me? You need to stop, motherfucker. If you funding this shit, whether you believe it or not, you funded all the bullshit.
I got you, Jason. We got to get Deontay next.
We gotta come together, bro, and we gotta stop funding this shit, bro. Because at the end of the day, for real, like, bro, y'all putting the weapons in these people's hands. Like my man said, Babylon is falling, right? At the end of the day, y'all niggas can talk about motherfucking y'all money and y'all land, right? Land the only thing that got value. Money gonna lose value. You can talk about your cryptocurrency, but shit, if ain't no money circulating, niggas ain't working and motherfucking computers ain't working. You feel me? So all that cryptocurrency bullshit is out the window too. You know what I mean? So if you don't know shit about agriculture, you don't know shit about keeping your land up, and you don't know shit about growing vegetables in those beautiful front yards, you fucked. You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep up with this shit, dog. Y'all talking all this future shit, but y'all not seeing what's happening. If we going into a depression, you think motherfuckers about to have computers and electricity? Come on, man.
They not.
Dark. Exactly. How the fuck you gonna have cryptocurrency with no power, nigga? Come on, man.
All right, Deontay. Go ahead, Deontay. What you got?
Nah, I feel what y'all saying. That man say y'all better stop. Nah. Look, I ain't gonna advocate. Don't stop paying y'all taxes. I'm tell you right now, the white folks gonna be at your door like your nigga ass.
Now we going together.
3 people you don't mess with. The IRS.
Yeah. But y'all better ask Wesley. Y'all stop paying.
Hey man, taxes not legal, bro.
Deontay, what you got? That's all you got.
I know what you're saying though, bro. I get the whole, destabilization and reforming America. And, it is important that we do get assets that are not relying upon fiat currency as well as, digital currency. Get you some land. I think one of the biggest industries that Black people kind of like slept on that Booker T. Washington literally expounded a lot on is agriculture. And we got a lot of land still. We don't have as much as we used to, but we have a lot of land to grow food, to build value-added products, hemp, cotton, all these things that we could create just from hemp steel, hemp concrete. We could literally build entire industries off of that. And I think just in the global space, I don't even like having global political conversations with the Black community because we don't even control our local political structure, let alone trying to influence the global political structure. I just say this, man. Know what they doing and prepare yourself if you can for a negative outcome. Because other than that, we don't got enough money to even talk global politics. We ain't shit. We barely got $1 billion companies, let alone $1 trillion companies. That's moving the global political structure. So that's my little add to that.
All right, come on with it, Jason.
Y'all know me and my man Seven, we be going at it, right? We have fun, but not paying your taxes, Seven. This is my question, bro. So we already talked about how the structure is set up. You stop paying your taxes, they cut off your money, then everything else crumbles. Like what? That's not a real solution, right? Like tell me how that would work.
Yep. First of all, you got to think how they cutting off your money. You giving them the money. They can't cut off what's already yours,
bro.
You're
they come.
them.
No. They would miss a tax payment and see it on it disappear out of your bank account or your job, garnish your wages. Your wages garnished, and you're not even gonna get money.
And that's a mentality that's old right there. You got to understand, bro. You're filling out W-2s. There are other forms you can fill out where you don't have to pay those taxes at all. You know what I'm saying? People don't have this information, so they don't even be knowing this shit, dog. You don't have to pay taxes. It's in the Constitution. Paying taxes is illegal. But like my man was telling y'all in the last podcast, right? You can only get arrested for a federal crime on federal property. If you do not know the laws, motherfuckers can do anything they want. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
Paying taxes makes you an indentured servant. That's in the Constitution, brother. I'm trying to tell y'all. You saying no because you don't know it. You know what I'm saying? If you never been taught this shit your entire life, whatever you think,
I've heard it. I've heard everything that you're saying, and I know that it doesn't work. The system is rigged, bro. The system is rigged. The system is rigged, right? And we have a choice to make, right? So I know people who have a lovely existence, right? And they work for themselves. They are sustained. They can feed themselves and their families. If they choose to imbibe, they can drink whenever they want to. They choose to smoke, they can smoke whenever they want to. But they've chosen a standard of life. If you choose to get in the game and try to get the money and try to advance yourself and try to find success under their system, then you got to play the game the way the system is played. And so if I'm going to go to the carnival, I can't pick up a skee ball and throw it like a baseball because that ain't part of the game. Right. So if I'm going to play the game, or I can put the skee ball down and I can leave the carnival. Right. Like, what you're saying makes sense when you choose certain lifestyles. I choose to try to have a lot of money, which means I got to pay my taxes. I fill out a W-4. I go to my accountant every year and try to minimize what I'm owing in taxes. And I try to play the game, right? Otherwise, I can leave and then I can have that other life. But as long as I'm going to try to be a part of the life and play under that system, I got to understand and recognize what the system is so that I can at least try to get something out of what I'm doing. That's just my point.
I see, Arby, go ahead.
All right, this is usually the time when we come on and Seven starts swinging on all of us about paying them damn taxes. But there is something in what Seven said, and this is something that I've seen used, because just like Jason, I've seen a lot of people talk that talk when I was a kid, and they lost everything. But I will tell you, there's some people that's not paying their taxes because they're playing the game, because this is a game. This is a ride. We need to have that seatbelt on. Brother, start a church.
Perfect.
Think about it. This is something I've been complaining about. I'm starting to think about it serious myself. You don't want to pay taxes? Start a church. You know I'm going to come to your church. Make me the minister of defense. But start the church, and as soon as you say I'm not paying taxes because this is my religion, they ain't gonna fuck with you. But don't just say I ain't gonna pay it because I ain't gonna pay it. Start that church, call me up for security, and let's get this paper popping. Because just like Jason, I want all the money. I pay my little tax, but I want all the money.
Yes.
All right, let's hear from Seven. We're gonna come to Rico. Seven, go ahead.
No, I'm about to say, man, technically this would be church right here. You can put this down as church for real on paperwork. If you did that, you could say this church because you literally having a gathering. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. But at the end of the day, man, a lot of people do not understand what taxes really are. Like, we just feel like we forced to pay them, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you don't have to pay that shit. You don't even have to live within these people's system, dog. Once you understand the wordplay, you're great. If let's say you got a business, right? And you don't have no paperwork for that bitch, but you know what I'm saying, you just making money. And then the government try to come and tell you, where you got all this money from? Nigga, you could telling people, I'm not under your jurisdiction. You know what I'm saying? If you understand how to talk, bro. I see you, Jason, but we gotta go to Rico. Man, hold on. Y'all find it funny, but y'all don't understand words. Once you start to understand the power of words, if you understood words, you wouldn't even need a lawyer, dog. Once you understand that you're not under these people's jurisdiction, bro, they're a false company or corporation operating on this land. You do not need to abide by what the fuck they talking about. That's only fear, bro. Once you understand that you personally, right? Okay, so you were saying earlier, right, how motherfucker is 3/5 of a person, right? You're only 3/5 of a person if you're not 5/5 realized. Once you become 5/5 realized, bro, a lot of this shit does not it don't apply to you. You know what I'm saying? You're going under these people's jurisdiction, and they don't have no pull over here, bro. You're a sovereign citizen when you say so. You talking about their paperwork. You don't have to do any of that shit to be sovereign.
Hold that, Jason. Hold that. I gotta see what Rico won't do. We gonna come to Jason.
I'm gonna be real quick. 7 points of bliss. We got to talk about things that are at least feasible, because the things you're talking about is not possible. You don't mess with the IRS. This is how powerful the IRS is. My two daughters, I raised them from the time they were born till they was grown. I got a letter in the mail telling me I owe $3,500 in taxes because those kids didn't live with me. I fought it. We went to court. At the end of the day, I asked for the payment plan to pay that $3,500, even though they lived with me. If they want you, they're gonna do whatever they want to you. That's something we can't fight. You putting things out there that's just not gonna happen.
Bro, if you go to court and you tell them you're not in their jurisdiction, bro, they cannot do shit to you. Y'all don't understand.
I see, Deontay, we gotta go to Jason. We gotta go to Jason, Deontay. Then I'll come back to you. Go ahead, Jason.
Okay, I got a couple of things. Number one, 7, and I know his heart is in the right place. I know, brother, your heart is in the right place. But if you really stood on what you even saying yourself, you would realize that you talking about using the same system. You talking about going to court and showing them paperwork and documenting on paperwork and creating for yourself a situation where you're a sovereign citizen. You still in the system. You still got to find a way to respect the system, regardless of how you want to navigate it. Number one. Number two, you talking about fear. I'm telling you, I've had my wages garnished. I've had the IRS, because of the Patriot Act, lock up all 3 of my bank accounts simultaneously. Yes. Like, I've lived through this, right? So you can talk all of that, and that's cool. And maybe your life is set up in a way that you could do that. I'm telling you that most of us don't have a life set up in a way that we even got the time and opportunity. We all know how the system is rigged. We all know that it's loopholes. But the reality is, you could turn on YouTube after we get off of here today and watch the police beat the shit out of half of these sovereign citizens for not giving them a license. I was scared for Paul last month when he showed his license on the glass. I'm like, oh, they gonna whoop his ass, right? Like, I ain't saying bow down, but I'm saying realities are reality. And what Paul say, I'm not even going for my license. You might shoot me. That's reality, man. Like, he can't, I'm a sovereign citizen. I ain't got to show you nothing. They would have drug his ass out of that truck. Yeah. And that's just the reality. And it's the same thing. And the reality is, I've been putting in and investing and working and doing a lot of the things like people talk about all the time, trying to build generational wealth. And I be damned if I'm gonna let the IRS be the people who take it away from me. And on that point, that was the disconnect between me and Kamala Harris, was when she started talking about taxing the rich. I don't consider myself rich, but anytime a politician, regardless of whether they red or blue or green, starts talking about taxing the rich, what we should all hear is they talking about taxing us, because the riches, like Orvie said, the rich play the game to the point that they don't even pay taxes. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a very detailed example. Jay-Z and Beyonce about 2 years ago bought a $200 million house. It made the headlines out in LA. They bought a $200 million house. The house was on the market for something like $250 million. They got in the headlines because they paid cash. On the surface, that's what they did. But I'll tell you in reality what happened. They met with a real estate agent. They talked them down to 200 even if they promised a 30-day close all cash. The real estate agent says, absolutely. They went to Bank A and said, we are Jay-Z and Beyonce, and we own all of these assets. Based on our ownership and possession of these assets, you need to give us $200,000 loan. The Bank A says, absolutely. They hand them a check for $200 million. They go to the title company and they pay $200 million in cash for that home. They close on it, get the keys, get the deed, immediately go to Bank B and say, we need to open a refinance on our new home. And when they refinance, they say it's based on what it is valued at. So they wrote them a mortgage of $250 million. Jay-Z and Beyonce got to take a check out of that deal in this example of $50 million in equity immediately because they talked the price down. They take $200 of that mortgage, pay it off to Bank A, and now they got $50 million that they probably only set 20 or 30 million to the side to make a monthly mortgage payment of $250,000 or whatever it is a month on that mortgage, and they put 20 million in their pocket. They don't pay taxes. They in fact enrich themselves by doing that. The reality is nobody on this podcast, myself included, can go somewhere and say, based on my assets, give me $200 million. So when you start talking about raising taxes, cities. What you talking about is messing with people like me who, the prices are up in the store. The fuel costs have gone up, but I've not altered my life. So I can stand up under the inflation, right? I'm not going to have to fold up and fold my tent up and leave because inflation. So those of us that can stand up under inflation is who they talking about. I'm already maxed out at 37%. That's for any U.S. citizen. So when she started talking about raising taxes, she talking about raising them on me. She's talking about lifting the limit from 37% to 40 or 45%. That's on me. And that's the reality that I'm living.
All righty. Deontay, what you got? He started out laughing.
This is pretty much surmise what I was going to say about the whole sovereign citizenship thing. And I just, just for viewers to understand, like, if you declare yourself as a sovereign, you must have a sovereign nation that America respects a treaty with. If you don't have no treaty, that means you have no safety. And that means also that the Constitution, which is your rights, that protects you, that you are no longer subjecting yourself to be under the jurisdiction of, do not apply anymore. So when a cop pull you up and beat the shit out of you, you can't even go file a lawsuit. Why? Because you're not a citizen of America. You do not have access to their courts anymore. You've declared yourself to be a sovereign nation that America now has to respect a treaty. And treaties are governed by the Supreme Court of the United States of America, and that will be the federal courts of America. So if they do not acknowledge a treaty with your sovereign nation, then they can pretty much do anything. You actually put yourself in a worse position and not a better position. And I think that when you look at a lot of these things, tax law and all that stuff, this is what Jason just said. They're not paying taxes because their assets are not being realized as capital gains. When you go to a bank and you get more money because you took out a home equity line of credit, you're not considered to have income. That's debt that you got, and that debt allows you to now have $50 million that you can live off of and pay back all your previous debts on. And so they're not paying taxes. They're just moving their money around so that there is no such thing as capital gains that could be taxed. Their individual income, most of the times they have assets that are not in their individual name, but are in an S corporation or a trust. And those things also have tax evasions and other little things that you can kind of pull into to where you're not paying much, if anything, because you're going to say, well, I had a loss every year. And my uncle, he does tax. And he was telling me, like, all you do is move your money from company to company, year to year, and you have a loss every year. And so you never pay tax because your income is considered a debt to your actual corporation.
All right. And before we come to 7, I thank all my viewers out there that's watching. Remember that it's absolutely 100% free to like, share, and subscribe. You want to subscribe to my podcast, the link is in the description, or you can go over to Wizzo Talk on YouTube and subscribe, because you just never know what you're going to get here. I asked one question, boy, and then this barbershop talk shit. We be all over the place, but it's some valuable shit I've learned all the time, and I done wrote down some notes, but we didn't cover some other shit, so now my notes is way back up at the top so goddamn well. But that's okay. But let me come over here to 7, because that's just how it goes in the barbershop. 7, come on with it.
I just want to say, man, that it's a lot of fear when it comes to being your own person out here. You know what I'm saying? You may need like a nation to back you if you're a sovereign person, right? But what's stopping the cops from motherfucking stopping you right now, dragging you out your car and beating the shit out of you and killing you? Black people are still being lynched and murdered like it ain't shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? If we all got into our mind that we are sovereign citizens and we are our own nation because this is our land and these are our resources, not the United States government's, right? If we all got that in our right minds and our perspective would completely change. See, you all are continuously talking about working within a system that is not for you, bro. I never said anything about going to court, showing them no paperwork. I said I would go to court and tell them. Yeah, that's part of playing that game. If me showing up, just telling them that I ain't playing that game, because a motherfucker can listen, bro. You could be under their jurisdiction. You don't show up to court, right? And they still come to your house and beat the shit out of you and kill you if they want. But at least if I show up to court and tell them, motherfucker, I'm not under your jurisdiction and I'm just here to represent a straw man, right? And I do not plead because I'm not an animal and I have rights under this God-given earth that I was born to. See, y'all don't know how to talk to the people. That's what I'm saying, bro. You don't have to worry about going to the bank if you a motherfucker sit down with your people, right? And start your own bank with your own family and or friends who you trust who have businesses. There are ways around all this shit that nobody is talking about. Yeah, they can take your money out your bank, nigga, but can they take your money out your house? Our elders didn't motherfucking use the banks like that. They kept their money in their motherfucking houses and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all study talking about playing in these people's systems, right? But you're not going about it like you want to win. You're going about it like you want them to take your shit. Because if you keep your funds in their shit, they gonna take your shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the point of it all. You're giving them the power. You're not thinking outside
but we gotta go to Jason.
So you just talked about starting a bank, bro. Do you know how much red tape and federal government paperwork you have to fill out to begin your own bank?
You ain't gotta do that.
Number one. Number two, what about the fact that you talking about all this living free and being your own sovereign citizen? We don't even live free like that in this country. We have the illusion of freedom. Let me give you an example. You talking about living off the grid. Can you go down to the pond and just pick some fish out and feed your family? Not without a license. And then when you get the license, they're going to tell you how many you can take. They don't care about the size of your family, right? That's not freedom. Right. So you are unable to exercise your God-given rights that you're talking about. And you talking about starting a bank, the amount of authority that's going to be over that bank, even if we start our own, is ridiculous. And what I'm trying to get you to see is how we still got to work in confines to make stuff work. That's it. Ain't no way around it. We can leave. That's the point. We can leave and go do our own thing somewhere else. But as long as we in this country that was colonized by them, then we got to play their rule.
Yeah. Harvey, go ahead.
Man, I just want to say that the Church of the Seven got a nice ring to it. and I know we're joking about it, man, but you're talking about money and bank, and you can speed line that by creating this church. Again, you know, I think we're all in agreement that we are in a system that's a game. And as long as we've been black, we've had to play to survive and play to win. And even though it's funny about the Church of the Seven, you want to talk about getting money to have some power and do something, start that church. There's so many people out here that's not the big ones that's doing TV stuff, that's making a killing, man. And they're not paying taxes. You know, they got business that they're moving around, but they're playing within the system. So when you talk about what you're doing, I got it. You want that freedom, but I got to go back to what Jason said. No matter what you do, this system is built to touch you. As long as they're in power, and it's going to take a lot to take them out, we got to play within those parameters. So
go ahead, Jason, and then we're gonna come over to Rico. I think he had something. Go ahead, Jason.
Oh, I was just going. I left out that on my first point when we were talking about the way that the Jay-Z and Beyonce example that I used. Another example is Jeff Bezos. If you look it up, his income from employment is only $81,000 a year. To tell you how much they play in the game. This man is a billionaire, but he ain't possessing that money to the fact that that's income that can be taxed. That's why I say that whole tax thing, that's for us. That's for the broke people that's working, right? That's trying to get anything out of the deal. And I just put it in the comments, but like I'm saying to Orvy's point, the Kardashians and if you look it up, a lot of these celebrities own churches, man. Like he's saying it and it sounds funny, but for real, they open in churches. All you got to do is go fill out the paperwork. Uh-oh.
Yep.
Did Jason just say that? Did Jason say that?
Hey,
go ahead, Rico.
Financial literacy is the main problem in our community because I was raised by my grandparents. Nobody taught me anything about finance. Everything I know about money, how to maneuver it, how to move it, how to get out of taxes, I had to learn on my own. Because like what Jason was saying, I understand that system, how they done with the house. They didn't use any of their money, those things. And at the end of the day, they're going to write it down as a tax write-off. Just like everybody think they buy the G-Wagon because it's a nice vehicle. That truck is ugly. It weighs over 5,000 pounds. It's a tax write-off. Financial literacy is everything. I own a company of my own. My wife has her own notary business just because it's another way we can itemize things to write off so we can keep some of our own money. My wife is a doctor. Financial literacy is everything. If you don't understand what you're doing it, and they're not going to teach it to you, because in our schools, they teach you to what? Get a job, go to work, pay your taxes. That you program to do that. You have to be willing to step outside the norm, take a chance or risk or whatever you want. You can start your own business or what you say, 7? My bad. We ain't gonna do that paperwork. I'm just messing with you again, but
yeah.
You gotta have financial literacy. You gotta have financial literacy.
Yeah.
Great.
That is something. I tell you this. I think Warren Buffett said that something about the tax system. I mean, and I didn't even know we was going here, but in my memory ain't that well. But it was something how they just know how the tax system is fucked up. In other words, they know how to play the game. They know how to use it. They know how to let it work for them. And we wasn't taught any of that shit. I've always heard about the churches doing tax-free this and tax-free that or whatever. But I will say this: even if you are some businesses only accept cash. They don't want to accept credit cards or whatever. They want to just accept cash. So you think they're not paying taxes on all of it, but my point is that they paying taxes on that place of business that they own. They paying their taxes on that business. They may not pay the total amount cash. They may only report that they made, I don't know, 70,000 when they actually made 200,000 because they're not taking cash. And some of you guys may know a little bit better than that than I do, but I know it's one business here in Temple, Jody's Restaurant, for example. I haven't been there in years, but he used to never, and I think he only take cash or he'll take check, and it's a lot of business that I know that only takes cash. And I think that's probably why, but I don't know. Go ahead, Jason.
It's a large part of that is the fees associated with taking a card. So it costs you nothing to swipe your card other than what you have to pay, but it costs that merchant a 5 or 10%, whatever fee that they have to pay every time a card is swiped for having that convenience for their customers. And so the card companies are getting it from the customers and charging you that whatever your percentage rate is, and they're getting it from the merchant by charging them to even have you get the opportunity to swipe your card. That's why a lot of them won't do it, to avoid that cost.
Right. Yeah, and I agree with you on that because a lot of them now are charging you a service fee or whatever. But the only thing about Jody's been around since like the 60s, I believe. And they have never taken any type of card before cards are popular like they are now. And I get cheap sometime and I'll say, you know what? I'm not paying that 3% because they want to charge you extra. I go to this barbecue place here in Temple. They have a $2 credit card fee. Now, most places charge you the 3%, which is whatever, or 5%, whatever, which is what they have to pay. This place charge you $3. I mean, I was going to get a brisket sandwich and it was going to be like $15. I'm like, fuck that brisket, but I get where I carry cash with me a lot of times because a lot of places are charging you that fee because the business has to pay, like you were saying that. So I was just pointing that out, and I had something else. But anybody else got anything? I got like 1-2 more things. Anybody got anything on the taxes of that paperwork? So, but before, I've come up with a couple of things, guys. I keep shit like Ari, something like that. But I always like to give my guests a chance. Deontay said something. I think Ari7. Rico, do you want to throw something out there for us to chop it up about, cut it up, chop it up, swig it up, fuck it up?
You talking about what we were just talking about?
About anything, we didn't kind of got that meat off the bone is what we can get off of it. So I just want to see if you have anything. If Jason did, okay, what you got?
Real quick, I want to ask all y'all men, what do y'all think the problem is in our community between our men and women? Because, man, I know. Look, you know what? I might need to change that because we could talk about that for hours. But each person just give me one or two things that y'all think is a problem.
It's gonna be probably more than one or two. So, but go ahead. Who got it there? Seb, Jason, Deontay.
I'll take a swing at it. I actually was just talking about this earlier today with a colleague. I think the biggest thing is there are a lot of black men who are not aware of what our position is in our community. And I think it's not their fault, but that's just something that is. And I think that there's a lot that has contributed to that. But I think largely by and far, black men are not in a position of leadership within our community in every area and aspect in which our community needs to be governed and led. And that's physically, spiritually, mentally, financially, to be the sole supporter and maintainer of our community. I think that's the biggest issue.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? 7?
Man, I would like to say that I think one of the major problems in our communities that tears apart is definitely social media. I feel like it's a lot of misleading going on with that shit. You know what I'm saying? With any type of media, really, when you look at it, like they don't really depict black love or the love of our people, how they depict love for other people. And it's been a lot of propaganda when it comes to mixed race relations. You know what I'm saying? They put that out there a lot more. So that tears down a lot of shit. Then the whole propaganda of money and how important that is to the family dynamic. That shit is weak as hell because money really isn't important when it comes to love and when you're putting your family together. People in back in the days didn't look at money, they looked at skills. What does the other person have to offer? Because if one person was making money, it didn't really matter. And I think that's something else that really tears down the structure of our family cohesiveness, is that we feel like if our ladies make more money than us, it makes us less of a man, but it really doesn't. Money doesn't matter. And when you're a cohesive team, it doesn't matter who's bringing in what, as long as y'all working together. You know what I mean? Because both of y'all can have shit jobs, but if both of y'all got side hustles, you know what I'm saying, you still can make everything work. So it's a lot of stuff like that really pushing people further and further apart. And also women are under a major delusion when it comes to what they should be looking for in a man. I mean, when you look at what men look for women and women, it's natural things given by God. And when you look at what women look for in men, it's a man-made shit. Like women be looking for how much money a man can make. Is he, how tall is he? It'd be weird shit women look for.
Nice car.
Right. You know what I'm saying? A man just need a fat ass, maybe a pretty face and some kind words. You know what I'm saying? And if you bring in something else to the table, you know what I'm saying, that'll make us even more happier. But men don't necessarily seek out women to see just for what they're making. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, there are some exceptions to that. There are some dudes who be looking for that in women, but for the majority of men, I feel like we don't really care about what our woman is making. As long as she's doing what she wants to do and she making something, I guess. I don't know, man. I mean, to me,
Okay, Jason.
It's one of my favorite subjects, so I'm just trying to keep it short.
No, go ahead. Shit.
So I'm gonna work backwards, and what Seven just said, I agree with him. Primarily, the anecdotals would be, there's some guys out there that do care about what a woman is making, but that's because, you know, they're not on their own thing and they're not doing their own little manhood thing the way it's supposed to be done, right? And so they are concerned with that. But you look at the fact that, and I think I brought this up on the last podcast, it's a fact that women are hypergamous, right? And men are not. So in general, a woman is looking for a man that's doing certain things, and that can show her a certain level of provision, and a man will go through a McDonald's drive-through and take the chick out fries if she's beautiful and she got the right thing to say. It don't matter where she was working or what she was doing, because he wants to be the one to provide and provision anyway. And then if you do get in a situation where you have a woman who maybe based on income makes more than you or equal to you, as long as she still allows you to be the man when it comes to being the man, even in finances and in day-to-day operation of that household, then I don't see why those relationships wouldn't work either. But there's a lot of narrative that is spewed, and a lot of it comes from social media. I agree with Seven on that. The problem to me is having our women subscribe to white third and fourth wave feminism ideas and ideals that do not apply to us, because several of my neighbors and friends are white people, and it's a running joke with these guys, and even at work, with how they send their daughters off to college to get MRS. Is what they call it, right? They send their daughters to go be married. You go pick a man. You can play around all you want to, year one and year two. But by the time you get to junior year, you need to be bringing somebody home for Thanksgiving. And by the time you graduate, we need you to be talking about getting married and having some kids and being a wife. And then they can say all this stuff like I make the joke all the time. Beyonce was telling all the single ladies, had all these women dancing around being proud to be single, and she was going back to her husband after every concert, right? Yeah. So it's that our women are falling into believing this bullcorn that is just that. And then we also, that we don't ever want to talk about very much when we have these conversations, have a pandemic of black men who are not doing the shit that they're supposed to be doing on a regular basis. And to me, that starts with, like, I got a nephew getting ready to graduate from high school, and I told him, talk to me, I'm gonna get you set up here. His father gonna get him set up there. And I told him, until you 30, we ain't even talking about women. We talking about what you need to do to build you. And if you focus on that, you'll have your pick of the litter when it comes to women. But if you focus on the women, or you focus on something outside of that, then you're gonna lose the women, and you're gonna lose the opportunities and the money.
Yep.
And if we were teaching that right, then we wouldn't have that problem. So it's not just a female problem, it's a male problem too. And it's a lot of men, which I don't know, I didn't go into the comments or nothing, I don't guess, from the last podcast I was on, but it's a lot of people that don't like what I have to say on the subject, because I'm not afraid to be a man, and I don't shy away from the fact that I'm a man. I'm gonna be a man. I'm gonna be proud to be a man, and I'm gonna operate as a man. And I'm not going to let this government, or I'm not going to let what status quo has become dumb me down to where I can't be a man, or I can't say and do the things that I feel like a man and I was taught that a man should be saying and doing.
Right. Yep.
All
the
right.
roads. Our roads.
Go ahead, Ari.
Oh, okay, I thought you was going with Rico. But yeah.
No, he wanted to pose the question.
Okay, I can go with it, and I'm going to go down the line with everybody saying what they said is absolutely true in my humble opinion. Social media has brainwashed, but this didn't start with social media. This started way back with the Cosmopolitan magazine that said what your man should be doing and what you should be demanding. So first and foremost, I'm gonna come on here and be honest with y'all. I'm a feminist. I believe that women should be able to do what they want, but they can't have their cake and eat it too. So when you want to have a relationship, this is talking about teamwork. And I think there's some women that believe that, okay, I'm going to get you because you got the nice car in the house, but I want to be able to do everything that I was doing before because it's my right. And I'm not holding that against you. That's your right. Take your right and take a left and get the hell off from my house. I'm with Jason on the part of being the man that I was taught to be. Everybody has a different definition of man, and maybe mine is a little different than Jason's, but I don't think it is. The man is the leader, the provider, the protector, the head of the household. And I really believe relationships work better when you have a significant other that believes that too and works with that. Now, I am going to say something that's probably going to hurt a lot of people feelings, especially with the religious part of it. But I believe marriage is a business. We're just talking about the system being built up. And if you're getting with somebody that's scared of doing a prenup because their girlfriend told them they shouldn't do that, when we know that anytime a man gets divorced, they're losing everything. And y'all talking to somebody that's 0-3. Well, I can't say 0-3, but I know what I'm talking about. You know, that's part of the problem, because they're taught this from social media and from their people. Hey, you marry this person until you get tired of them, and then you take all their shit. Instead of, hey, y'all need to come together. This is a business. Y'all need to work it out as a team. And just like a business, if this doesn't work out, let's dissolve amicably. And I really think that if we can get more people on board to come together with that mindset, not of how much I'm going to get once we get divorced, but hey, how do we make this build even bigger than what we got? It'll be better. And I'm speaking from personal experience, because the first two didn't really work out the way I wanted. But this last one I think is solid, because she understands that no matter what, I'm going to be a man. And if you don't like the man that I am, you're free to leave, but you're not taking my shit.
Right.
And we working. So that's my 2 cents on it. Okay, go ahead, Jason.
I had a couple things with what Orvie just said. Number one, I agree with him about the business. That was agreement laughter. I agree with him about that wholeheartedly. But I have a question for you. I've heard you say before, when I wasn't on the podcast, I watched, and I've heard you say what you just said tonight, and that is that you are a feminist. And I want you to explain that to me. What does that mean, and what does that look like?
Okay, my definition of feminist, because I think there's a couple of definitions going out there, but my definition of a feminist is a man that believes that a woman should have the right to do whatever she wants to do to make her happy. I'm okay with them, you know, if they want to be single, do that. If you want to not have kids, do that. But you also have to remember, just like all other freedoms, there's a price to pay for that. You can't expect me to do what I consider being a man for you if your idea of being a woman goes against my beliefs. And I'm not going to say you're less than a woman. I'm going to support that 100%. But I'm not going to give up who I am for you to be who you are. Just like I want people to see me as the man I am and not expect me to back away from what I believe manhood is to me. So when I talk about being a feminist, I am 100% behind women doing whatever they want to do to keep them happy, as long as it's not encroaching on my rights to be a man.
So it's not. I'm asking because, to me, feminism in large part means equality with men. It doesn't sound like what you just explained is necessarily at that level of what I'm looking at. When I hear the word feminism, I'm looking at a really broad umbrella, and a large part of what's underneath that umbrella is equality between the genders.
And if I can clarify it, I think we're on the same level. When people, well, I'm not going to say people because we're talking about men and women. If a woman declares that she's on the same level as me, I'm not going to tell her she's not. I'm going to hold her to those expectations.
Right.
If I'm in a firefight and you're supposed to have my flank because we're supposed to be equal, I'm not going to say, okay, now this is time for you to get soft. Take that 30-round clip, send a mash. You know what to do. I'm over here on this side. So that's what I mean. And I have met women that have been all that in the bag of chips. But I also had women that wanted their cake and eat it too. They want to do it when it's okay for them, but then when the oil needs change or they need somebody to come down and check out the car, now they want to flip it. And my thing, and it might be mean, but my thing is, hey, be who you said you were. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to go against it, but again, I'm not going to break down who I am to cater to what you want to be right now.
And I just wanted to get clarification because when I look at that, like I say, when I hear the word feminism, I look at that level of equality, and to me, that's ugly when you look at a society like ours, where we are supposed to be catering to women and making things softer for women and making things more pleasant for women and going out of our way to make things easier for women. If a woman tells me that she's a feminist and she wants equality, I'm all about giving it to her, right? I'm going to give you the same equality that I'm going to give all the rest of these 5 dudes that's on this podcast, right? And that's ugly. That's me driving past you at 60 miles an hour with your gas can. You see what I'm saying? I don't care that it's midnight and you walking with that gas can.
Well, let me say something on that, brother.
I'm gonna zip right by the dude that's over there, because what he might rob me. He might, you know what I mean? Good luck with that, bro. Like, I ain't stopping. So equality and feminism to me means I'm gonna mash the gas on her ass too while she walking down the street in the middle of the night. That's equality.
I like that. I like that explanation that you gave, but I can also say, if I saw one of you guys on the side of the road, even if I didn't know y'all, I'm gonna stop.
You gonna feel it out. You gonna feel that situation out, because if I look like I'm gonna rob you, or I look like a setup, you gonna keep driving, and you could be wrong. You may be wrong about your assumption about me gonna rob you, but you gonna leave me out there. Come on, man, keep it real, man.
No, bro, I am keeping it real. I'm saying, and you're right. If I feel that something wrong. It might not just be me passing by, depending on how you trying to do the setup. It might be you getting them 3 rounds, send a mass. But I'm talking about people that I know. You 5 guys, I relatively know. I'm gonna have an expectation that y'all need me as a brother right then. If I see women out there that I know, I'm gonna say, hey, they need some help from me that I know. If it's a woman out there, and this has happened, Jason, that look real good in a shady area, and she batting her eyes with them $50 things. No, I'm not stopping. And to me, that's equality, because I fear for my safety. If there's a guy out there that I don't know, and this joker keep looking on the other side of the car while he waving at me, I'm moving out, because I don't want to shoot somebody if I don't have to.
My presumption is this is a stranger, that the man is a stranger to you and the woman is a stranger to you. I would expect you're a decent person. I would expect you to help a person that you even remotely are acquainted with. And I understand that. But what I'm saying, you get the point that I'm making. I get you, brother. And the point that I'm making is that level of equality, because we as men, I don't know Paul's exact height, but I know I'm taller than him. I'm not helping him at the grocery store reach that bottle from the top. He on his own with that.
God damn.
And that's how I'm gonna treat a woman that want that equality, that feminism. What you need my help for?
But let me ask you this, Jason. How do you know if they're define themselves as feminists or not?
No. I'm saying in the context of this, conversation. Because me operating on a day-to-day basis, any woman that flags me down in the grocery store or even just looks like she's trying to reach up that high, I'm gonna offer to get that for her. That's you see what I'm saying? That's not my point. Is when we having these conversations and a woman is declaring feminism, and we got here in the conversation because you stopped and made a pause a minute to say I'm a feminist, and that's why I wanted to dig in deeper to see what you meant by that, because to me, feminism is ugly.
Okay.
Equality is ugly when we're talking about genders.
Yes.
So let me come over here to Rico before we get ready to move on, because I forgot. Rico, what was your original question that you put out there? Because we was on the whole shit. I forgot.
We still been talking about it, the problem between men and women in our communities.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Can I say one last thing?
Yeah, okay.
I want to say this. Like, I agree totally with what Jason and Orvie said. We are not equal when it comes to men and women. And in our communities, our women want to be treated as equal as long as it benefits them. If it does not benefit them, they don't want to be treated as equal. And we as the men, we have to know our roles. I agree with Dave when he said that, in Orvie as well. We done lost our roles. The women will follow as long as the men be a man. She is within her to submit to a man, but not some little boy who don't know his role and that doesn't want to be a man.
Okay, all right. I got 7. You had what was up, 7?
Hey man, women want equal rights, right? But the thing that's weird is the women are held to a way higher regard than even they realize. You know what I'm saying? As to where they do submit something to us, we submit something to them as well. It's a power exchange. And the power that we're giving these women is we're giving them the power to be greater than us because we are servants of them. We don't realize it, but when we do stuff for our women, we are servants for them. Just like when they do stuff for us, they're servants for us for certain things, right? So to be held with equal rights as a man is really to lower their standards, right? Because I know some women and I see them struggling, I won't even help their ass because of the simple fact that, right, struggle builds character. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what I learned as a man. And sometimes a woman gotta learn that shit. You know what I'm saying? You struggle, you figure this shit out, and then that makes you a better person. And that's not even me joking around. That's for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you struggling, you're gonna figure some shit out, and it helps you in the long run. You know what I'm saying? If somebody just always come to your rescue, what are you really learning? So I really think of it as me helping them become better. You know what I'm saying? Like a woman. Oh, I see a woman the other day. She was struggling with a table. She said, "Can you help me?" I told her no, and I walked off. You don't need muscles to lift a table. You can slide it across the floor, but you're not thinking it like that. You just want me to do it. But your foremothers, they've been fighting for equal rights, so I'll let you have that shit. And at the end of the day, you really gotta learn. If I was to step up and help that woman, right? Would that not be pushing her to a level of, like, for instance, like royalty? Like, I'm doing it for her. Women have had men just doing stuff for them for so long, right? Now they feel like they can handle these things, but I told a woman online, right? She said, "I don't need a man." So they was like, "Well, a man just gonna keep driving past you. You got a flat tire on the side of the road." She's like, "Well, I'll just call for assistance." Yeah, but the motherfucker you calling for is still a man. You know what I'm saying? That's who gonna come. They're not gonna send a woman out there. Yeah, you may pay for the services, but you're still asking for help from a man. So it's kind of like women don't understand the higher tier that they're on. Right? They want to be lowered down to where we at, not realizing that men struggle. We be struggling with shit. It's either fight or flight. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got that, you're dead. Women want to be lowered to this standard where we at, and they don't understand. We out here, we struggling. Niggas got it's either survive or die out here. And that's what they want.
All right, Deontay, go ahead, man.
Yeah, man. Brothers make some very interesting points. And I think that even as we look at the issues, it's important that, you know, we also talk about the solutions to these kind of things and not leave it at just talking or venting about the issues. So one of the things that, you know, I like to approach this conversation is that let's not divide ourselves further, but let's talk about how do we strengthen the Black family? How do we empower the Black family to be successful, to have tranquility and peace between the mother and the father as they work to build their future? How do we build strong, meaningful marriages where individuals not just relying upon their information, but we could be guides. Those of us who are married, those who have gone through struggles in our relationships, how can we help the younger generations who are just getting married, who are just trying to figure it out and how to navigate that space and not look at it as just a point of saying, you know, well, women are responsible or women is this or women is that, or also and vice versa, men are this and men is that, but really looking at it from the perspective of let's build our families. Both women and men have done bad things, and both women or men are traumatized and are hurt, and it's the duty of the entire collective community to address that and create meaningful solutions.
All right, Arvin, go ahead. I see you. What's up?
Hey, Deontay, man, that question really hit home for me because that's something that I'm really doing right now. I really believe that the younger generation needs to hear from the older folks on how to stay together, not just when something's going wrong, but how to stay good, how to stay relevant, and how not to lose sight of the big picture. Like with my nephew, one of the things that I told him with his relationship was that, hey, whether you and this female stay together and work it out, which I want y'all to do, or go apart, both of y'all got to be there for the kid. She can't be taking ownership of the kid because that's not her property. And you can't be pissed off because she got somebody else and don't want to be there for the kid. You got to do that. But before y'all get together, you really got to look at this as a business. are y'all suitable for each other? And that don't mean that you had a great weekend at the Western, so now y'all need to go down and get married next month. No, it takes process to build on that. And both of y'all have to be committed. And what I'm doing as the big great uncle is having those conversations with them all the time. So I'm not saying I'm a counselor, but when my nephew called me, we're going to be on the phone for 2 or 3 hours talking about his issues and his concerns. If his lady friend want to talk, we're going to talk with her on the phone because that's my nephew. She's somebody trying to come into the family. But I'm still going to treat her with respect because I want her to know that this is a family unit. You're not just marrying one person. You're marrying to this family. And the child that y'all have, that's part of our family. And this is based off of stuff I didn't see my mom do, but I saw my grandmother do, that I saw my great-grandmother do. When somebody came courting, they need to know the whole family. So you didn't get married on your own. There was no such thing as going down to the courthouse to get married. No, you're going to sit on the fucking porch. Y'all going to try to talk and hold hands and do whatever, but you're going to come around the house for a while, and the parents and the grandparents are going to have a conversation about how this thing is going to go. And I think when we start talking about building our community, and I mean us as Black people, we got to understand everything is not going to be 100% like we want it to be, but it's always going to be 100% a Black community. So how do we work that? Well, we work it from the bottom up with that core family, not with Geraldo and what's on TV, but what the mom, the dad, the uncles, the Karen cousins have invested in you, and then we build from that. Hey, but great question, man. That really hit home for me because I really think us more seasoned people really need to reach down to the youngest and say, hey, look, we don't understand all y'all tickety-tockety stuff, but we do have love for y'all. So put the phone down. I'm gonna put my book down. Let's have a conversation, and we're gonna build from that. Maybe you can put my book on the face cam and shit, you know. And I'm gonna show you how to write a proper book. Yeah. So that's why I got y'all. Old season.
Right. All right. Anybody? Any other comments on that?
Hey, I think the way we heal these family dynamics is we need to learn from the animals, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's old wisdom because people don't believe in gender roles anymore, man. You know what I mean? And that's kind of weird, but at the same time, there are gender roles in relationships. You know what I mean? But there are also roles that I feel like people can fill in depending on who's more qualified for the role, right? And that's what I mean by we need to learn from the animals because when you watch deer, there's no particular leader, right? Whoever senses the danger, whoever knows which ways to go is the one who leads, right? So in a relationship, right, certain people have certain skills. We need to let them lead with that. If your woman is better with the finances, let her hold on to the money, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying put it all in her name, but you know what I'm saying? But if you better with it, then you take control of that. You know what I mean? Right. If she better with the cleaning, she take control of that. It's like that though, but we don't be thinking about it like that, right? We just try to put specific things on specific people. You know what I'm saying? I understand the men got to take out the garbage, and I understand the men need to understand how to work on cars, and that's just how society pushes on men. But it's some women who know how to do that shit too when it comes to working on cars. If your girl better with knowing how to work on a car, let her work on that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's certain things, man. I feel like we really need to open our minds.
I got you, Jason. Go ahead, Jake.
Hey.
Look at Deontay laughing. Already laughing.
I was with you up to a point. But let me tell you something. No woman of mine ain't gonna do. She ain't taking no trash out. And I ain't gonna let my neighbors see her taking no trash out. She ain't fixing my car. I don't give a damn if she's an ASC mechanic.
I know that's right.
She ain't fixing my car. I'm the man in that house, and I'm gonna do the man stuff in that house, and I ain't gonna be embarrassed and have my ego bruised, if they want to call it that, by having my neighbors say, "Look at this man, got this woman out here fixing that car." Come on now, be real. Hey, I don't give a damn. I
never said she take the trash out. I never said she could take the trash. I said
no, but you said you described the egalitarian system of everybody doing what's best, and that's cool if that works for you. But I'm telling you that in any Payne household, that the man gonna be the man, and if a car need fixing and the trash need to go out, is doing that. If the floor need cleaning or the cabinets need washing, I'm not doing it. And I ain't ashamed to say I'm not doing it. And any woman that's chosen me, she knows she choosing me because I'm gonna tell her up front that I'm not doing that. When I do go in the kitchen and I throw a meal down, I keep everything I kind of clean as I go. But when that meal's over, I'm not cleaning that kitchen. I'll stand there while she do it, and we can have good conversation and drink a glass of wine. But a woman gonna be a woman in my house, and a man gonna be a man in my house, and that's just the way it is. And I don't care what nobody like about it.
All right, go ahead.
Look, I'm definitely not gonna stop Jason from being Jason. You know, he always put it out there, and that's 100. And I can't sit here and be a hypocrite. My wife ain't never taking out trash. She ain't killing no bugs. You know, she ain't standing in front of the fence for me. No. But what I would like to counter with is that something Seven said, and it's going to reach back to what Deontay said earlier. What about the youngsters that's coming up? Because, Jason, I think you and I are the same age. We come from the old knuckle up, man hold the door, woman grocery shop shit. That we're built off. That's in our DNA now. But do we have enough acceptance for the youngins to come in there and be like, hey, you know, I met my girl at the Mitsubishi place. She know how to car. That's why she's doing it. I'll go help her. But I don't know. Can we as black men accept that we're going to be the king of our castle, but there's a whole bunch of other castles out there in the village that we got to tolerate and not push them out? Because what I've seen is that there, and I'm not saying you do this, Jason, but I'm saying there's men like you and me where it's our way or the highway in the house, and that's acceptable because that's our castle. But they feel that should also go for their kids or anybody they connect with. Like, hey, if you're doing that, don't come around me because that's not man stuff to me.
No, I don't involve myself in what other people are doing, but it's a lot of things, like I said, that I said a couple of weeks ago that I don't involve myself in. How you run your house, like he's saying his house, like Rice is saying they both clean, and I wouldn't go to his home and force my ideas on that. Right. But I'm not giving up my ideas and how things are operating in my home. We had this conversation a couple of weeks ago, Paul, we had a gender whatever conversation on his podcast, and I said even then that I'm not a fan of monogamy, right? So if you got multiple. And that's how you live in your home. That's how you live in your home. If you have a monogamous household and that's how you live. I got nothing to say against it. I got nothing to say for it. I'm not going to promote you to go one way or the other. I just know what's going on in my house. And in my house, I'm not, intentionally making no messes or nothing like that. And if somebody is working or busy or whatever, and I got to clean something up, I'm going to clean it up. I was raised cleaning up, but I'm still going to be the man in my house, and that's just the way it is. I'm not going to impart those thoughts on somebody else's home. So I get what you're saying.
We're going to hit Deontay, and then we're going to see if Rico got anything else. Go ahead, Deontay. I saw your hand up.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, man, I think that the key thing is the husband is the protector, maintainer of his wife. And your wife is going to be different from the next man's wife. So what your wife needs to be protected may not be what the next man needs. And what your wife needs to be maintained may not be what the next man's wife to be maintained. And I think that we got to be careful about saying, oh, you're not a man if your wife is doing this. Because that now is like, wait, hold on. You don't even know what my household is. You don't know what worked for us. And how you going to tell me that I'm not a man because I don't live by your standards? You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I think a lot of men frequently do. We subject things about like manhood to, real intangible things like taking out the trash or fixing on the cars. I'm not fixing on no cars. I don't know enough about cars to do it. I go pay the mechanic. That's what I do. I call my dad because that's what he do. But that's just me. My wife take out the trash. I'll tell her like, hey, baby, I got it. But she'll go out and take out trash. I'm not gonna be like, girl, you're not supposed to be taking out no trash. That ain't what no woman supposed to be. I'm not gonna do that because it don't work for my household. but I'm not gonna say that another man is not a man because he allows that in his household or doesn't allow that in his household. I think the key phrase is protector and maintainer of your wife. So that means that if you're doing what your family needs you to do as far as protection, as far as maintenance, as far as love, as far as spirituality, then you are a man in every aspect. And it don't matter what any other man has to say about that. As long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in your community and in your family, that's what they need, then that's what your manhood is defined by, not by, some of these arbitrary gender roles. And then, like I say, I do think gender roles are important. There are things that we just know that men are simply just do better than women. And there are things that women just do better than men, like raising kids. My kids don't listen to my wife at all. I'm talking about shit.
That's not true.
And I said my kids. I can't. This is my anecdotal situation, but I watch them. Like she'll be sitting there, hey, go do this, and then she'll yell at them, hey, go do this, and I'll just come in and like look at them like real crazy, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, I got to do it, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's just because of the disciplinary role that I often take, and that's what's established, as well as, they say scientifically, children perceive a threat in the father's voice where they don't perceive threat in the mother's voice. So there's no sense of urgency when they hear her say something versus when the father says to say something. So, I mean, just little things like that. But
I see you, Arvin, but we got to hit Rico first.
Oh, yeah, Rico.
Did you get my message? I was the one who posed the question. I know we got off, but
okay, I see you. Okay, I do now. Man, yeah, I didn't even look up.
I have a 2-year-old, and I have some things I need to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you, bro, and we gonna. I knew this was gonna go past 2 hours. We getting all that meat off that goddamn.
I hate to get off.
You know what? And your ass gonna miss it. You gonna miss some good shit too.
Bring me back, please. Bring me back.
You ain't coming back. You ain't coming back.
No. I'm talking about for another show.
I know. I'm just playing with you, man.
Okay. It was nice meeting y'all.
Nice to meet you, bro.
All right, 7 points of bliss.
It was an honor, brother.
Don't you sign them papers?
All right, I'm gonna say something after Arvin, but go ahead, Arvin.
No, I just wanted to say, Deontay, everybody has a different role. Like for me, I'm the disciplinarian, and my wife, like you said, she can yell at top of her voice. They can go back and forth. But with me, it's either a stare or hey. I ain't even got to explain what I'm saying hey for. They just know shit about to hit the fan if you don't do what's supposed to be done after hey. But also in my family, my mom and my Aunt Beverly, they're twins. They have that role. My dad never disciplined me. But when they get up and they say they're going to whoop your ass, I don't care if we win the lotto. Asses are getting beat. So we try to stay out their way. And the only reason I bring that up is that, just like you said earlier, there are dynamics in the family, in that household that shouldn't be challenged because that's how y'all live. What Jason does in that house, that shouldn't be challenged or up for debate because that's how he live. But what I'm saying as a community construct, when we see people on the outside of our community, we're trying to bring them together. Some people want to try to change them to be the right way to move the community, and we got to be accepting. Let me say, we don't have to. We should try to be accepting that everybody's going to do something a little different, but this whole village can still move forward as a force if we understand we're looking out for each other. Everybody on the outside of the fences are out to get us. We can't be out to get each other. So if your wife's going to fix the car, fine. If your man's going to wash the dishes, fine. If you're going to make your wife wash the dishes, fine, because that's what she's on board for. If Arvie's going to take out the trash, no matter what, fine. But at the end of the day, when we come together, what we want to know is how, not what's going on in our house or our bedrooms, because I could throw another chink in here and say, what if we got 2 men that's married in our community or 2 women? That's a whole nother conversation. But when we're talking about the village as a whole, we should be looking at the villages. What do we need to move forward as a group? And part of that acceptance is passing that knowledge. Jason, when you put that knowledge out for Beyonce and Jay-Z, man, honestly, I wanted to fucking cry. I wanted to cry because this is something I've been screaming to my family since I learned about it in the Army. Not when I was in school, Not when I was in fucking college, but after I bought my second house, I was like, what the fuck you mean I could have did that? So these are things that I think are more crucial than who putting on the pants or who fucking wearing the apron. If we want to move forward, we need that knowledge. We need that book knowledge. We need the information, social internet, society knowledge, but we need all of it to come together to build us as one. So, man, again, Wizzo, man, I can't tell you how much joy it brings me that you keep pushing this, man, because for every conversation that we have a disagreement on, I feel like I grow every fucking time because there's something that I didn't know that I can add to my bag to take back to my village and to my family and say, hey, this is what we need to move forward, y'all. I just learned this. This is how we taking it.
Most definitely, most definitely. So I'm gonna make this a few little comments, and then I'm gonna go around the room because Arvie, I know you're in another time zone, and it's probably about 10 or something where you are, or something like that. You know?
I'm like Jason. My wife ain't coming to tell me nothing. I'm gonna go downstairs and see if she got me some damn chicken nuggets with some barbecue sauce ready for me. I might want some great Kool-Aid with that shit.
All right, let me just touch on because the trash kept coming up, and if I'm married or if I'm with my girl or whatever, and she has kids, they taking out the trash. I ain't taking out no goddamn trash. I'm gonna tell them take their goddamn trash out. I'm not doing that. As far as the car, I feel you on that. I'm gonna be that out there on that car. I'm gonna take care of that deal. And Deontay mentioned like protector. You know, my girl, she has to walk. If we walking down the street, she can't walk on the outside where the cars are. She has to walk on the inside. You know, I'm a protector, and she knows when we going into this restaurant or this whatever, I'll knock her hand down. Don't open that damn door yet. You know, I'm going to do that. My daughter, she will see that door open left or right, and she will stand on that side and wait for her daddy to open that door. If I'm not there, her brothers then will open that door for her, you know, because that's just what I've instilled her, and that's what I like for her to look for. And that's just the way I am. You know, I think Cree was on one time and she mentioned something about men. What did you learn that men was supposed to do this? Well, I mean, you know, it just grew up. Me, I watched a lot of TV, and TV back then was different than the way it is now. You saw men treating women differently. Now it's just a whole fucked up situation. So, but that's just where you know what I like to do with mine. I like what Jason say. He gonna go in there and he may cook, but he gonna watch her wash the goddamn dishes because he not. If me with my girl cook there, I may be in there. She may have cooked, and I may be washing shit, putting in storage containers and shit like that. Jason say he not doing that goddamn shit. I'm gonna cook, I'm gonna eat, and I'm gonna watch her wash them goddamn dishes.
Look, man, I'm just saying, man, that like you say, everybody got their own thing, right? Yeah. It's just certain things that here's the thing, and here's what's important. Okay, everybody going through their little things, right? But what's important is that you have an understanding with the person that you choose, person or people that you choose, before you get involved in deep in that relationship, and you don't go trying to spring something on somebody or them spring something on you. Number one, that's my first comment. Number two is when we talk about this protection, and I know we always default to the physical part of the protection and the provision, but I always try to point out that protection and provision goes for that woman's heart and her mind and her soul and her spirit and everything else. And it also goes with maintaining your own health in all those same areas so that you can be the leader that these people that you call yourself leading need you to be. Because if you don't have a healthy mind and a heart and a healthy spirit and a healthy soul, then you can't keep nobody else healthy. So as men, anytime I get the opportunity to sit at the table, I like to say and throw out as a reminder that that's a part of provision. That's a part of protection. I know a lot of men, I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't want, man, look, if you 40 plus, you need to get your ass in there to that doctor, because if you're not taking care of yourself, they ain't gonna have nobody to follow. And that's just the reality. You know what I mean? You got to take care of yourself first. If you go down, in most people's cases, in most people's scenarios, when the man goes down, that's going to do damage to the family. When the woman goes down, as horrible and tragic as that is, when the kids go down, as horrible and tragic as that is, the family goes on if that man keep living. So he got to take care of himself, and that provision needs to go beyond the physical.
All right. Let me do this right here, because this has got a mess. I got to remember to look up at them damn private chat messages. I get to go and forget to look at that shit. So we've been going for a little bit, y'all, and it's been good. But let me go around the room right quick and get some closing comments right quick, because I got another guest about to drop off. Deontay, we'll start with you and let you go and see what you got to close out with.
Great conversation. I really appreciate you bringing me in, man. I think that's the beauty of conversations, man. When you get to hear multiple perspectives, helps you maybe see things from an angle or position that you didn't see. So thank you, Wizzo, for inviting me to come out to another conversation. I say I still believe in our American political system. I'm actually starting a super PAC called FAM, Foundational American Movement. We're organizing to get economic development, teaching individuals how to do contracting with our government, preserving our history and culture. Again, y'all, look, vote like your life depends on it, because it does. And that's even in your local community, your sheriffs, your city council people. All these are individuals that you elect on a yearly basis, annual basis. This is not something that's out of your possession, out of your control. Get out there, go get out to your community, go vote, go take charge of your communities. That's a part of protecting. That's a part of that maintenance. If we own our communities and we control the governance of our communities, we control those governments, we control them taxes that 7 don't want to pay on, we control that, especially on that local level. Thank y'all so much for having this conversation. Again, all you men are brilliant. Definitely want to follow up, have more conversations. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Deontay. Y'all hit me up and I'll try to find you guys as well. I try to find everybody when I see on Facebook. So like the video so I'll know where you are and I can go ahead and send you a follow, send you a like, or whatever else we can support. Thank y'all so much.
Yeah, Deontay, before you go, the only thing I just added to that is like Rico said, he lost a what was it, for mayor or from some office he was running for about 20 votes. Mayor. So you got to figure out how to get people out there to vote, if that's what, to get them to the poll. I think Jason and some other guys had mentioned before about the local elections and who we're sending up to the office is way more important than the presidential election. I believe someone said that. I may have been Jason. I can't remember because
it was me.
Okay, yeah, well, I know we talked about quite a bit,
and that's true, man. Those in a lot of local elections, y'all, it literally be about 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 to 15 votes that a person might lose by. So when people saying, we can't change the system, well, you never gonna change the system. You never get engaged in it. You never get involved in it. You never gonna change the system. You never gonna have power. You never gonna have control. And people don't realize how much power of our nation is in the local government, in your city council, in your mayors, in your county commissioners, in them individuals they're moving millions and hundreds. City of Temple, Wizzo know, hundreds of millions of dollars being moved in the city of Temple every year, hundreds of millions. And we don't even try to control some of those things. We don't even say, hey, look, y'all need to go ahead and put us in on this budget. Like, we need more resources for our communities. I know that y'all get this money for my community. I need it. Let me get it. Y'all want to do it? Okay, well, we're going to just let the lawyers figure it out then. That's how I'm trying to operate. That's how I'm going to be moving. But, but I think with all of that, you also got to be aware of your numbers. It's going to be hard for you to win as a black man or black woman in the city where, you 6% of the population. It's going to be hard. But in a city where you might be around 45 to 50, 60% of the population, you can win those. We can get elected. And control those resources, build strong black communities.
All right. Well, we appreciate you there, brother, and we look forward to, I'll reach out to you again. Thanks for coming on. OB, I think 7. Are you gone, 7?
He got up. Oh, there you
go. Rose up out of the mist on our ass.
Like
Come
a
on,
phoenix.
7, what you got before we close out, 7? What you got?
Man, we really need to start thinking outside of the box, man. And we gotta do better with raising warriors, man. We can't always just be going with what the enemy telling us to go with, man. And I understand y'all down with the voting and all that. That shit not gonna mean nothing in the future, man. Yeah, I just don't get it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, people say choose between the lesser of two evils, but if you still choosing evil, you still fucking the world up, man. At the end of the day, we got to decide to stop playing our enemies' games, man, and rise to the occasion. Because it's not about us, man. It's about the future generations to come. If we keep allowing our enemies to destroy this planet, it ain't going to be shit good for our great-great-grandchildren to have. And yeah, we may not be here to have to suffer through that shit, but our lineage is, man. And to me, that's bad enough, man. You know what I'm saying? You want your kids to be able to run outside with no shoes on and drink water, you know what I'm saying, out the river, don't you? You know what I'm saying? Just drink out of the water holes like we used to do. Yeah. You can't do that shit no more, man. It's too much bullshit in the water, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, we really need to start thinking about that type of shit, because no matter how much you vote, it's still gonna be motherfuckers out there that know this lead in the water and not tell nobody, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a money game, man. But why we gotta keep playing for the money if we can get the land? People, we just gotta think deeper, man. That's all I'm saying, man. We got a box, we in it. We gotta think outside of it. It's an honor to be here, man.
7, as always, man. I appreciate you. You've been a ride or die with me for a long time, so we'll stir the pot up and throw some shit out there. But we appreciate you wholeheartedly, bro. So, all right, OB, what you got, man?
First and foremost, man, this reminds me of the barbershop talks I used to listen to back in the 70s. I mean, a lot of the way that I am now, it came from my family members, but it came from seeing men in my community. Some that were pillar of community, some were straight up body snatchers. But they kind of showed me the way of being a man and being able to open up conversation that we're not doing anymore. So I appreciate that. Second thing, I'm serious about the Church of the Seven. I mean, I get what you're saying, brother. And again, just like I ain't gonna let you kill anybody that don't need to be killed just yet, I'm not gonna let you go to jail like Wesley Snipes, man. I'm gonna try to get you this money, and we're gonna make money together with that church. But the last thing I want to say is, if we're gonna play this game, we gotta play it to win. Anybody here of Harold Washington? I know you have, 7. Harold Washington was the first black mayor of Chicago.
Oh no.
He was also somebody that went to jail for killing somebody. And in Chicago, they never thought he would win. They even had the stacks against him with 2 white Democrats running against him, but he still won. And you know why he won? Because he went out and told his people, I will not run until y'all can show me at least 3,000 brand new registered voters. And this is something that I've been looking at, and I want to take a more active part in it. We have a lot of people that have commentary about how they feel about one party or another, or what they think should be done. But when I talk to my people about who voted, there's not enough in there to move it. And I get it. There are some places where we just don't have the numbers to move that. But if we have a place where, especially like aldermen and stuff, we can make some significant movements because of our numbers, we got to show that. And we can show that with registered voters. So this is something that I'm looking at for the next 4 years, actually the next 2 years, talking to my family in Louisiana. And it sounds bad, but this is just how it is, because it's my people. I want them to show me a physical voter's registration card. Because I know a couple of them we talked about, and then we had the barbecue. Oh, man, I didn't vote, man. I didn't have time to do that shit. Okay, that's part of the problem. You can't win the game if you're not in the game. You can't take a 3-point shot if you don't have them damn sneakers on. Put the sneakers on, and let's get up here and win this game. So, again, let's keep this going, Wizzo. Brothers, man, I can't even explain the happiness I have every time I see y'all on here, because I know it's going to be growth. This is something I can't get in my community right now. I'm not home with my people. I'm in Minnesota. So when I get to see y'all, it really is like, meeting my real people. And back to 7, it is like church. This is like church. And you can get a tax credit on that, 7. Church 7, man. I'm telling you.
He don't pay taxes.
Yeah. You get that money all day, man. Have them pay the tithes. I posted in there the Kardashians. In their church, every member's got to pay $1,000 a month. And they got to pay 10% of their earnings for tithes to the church. Yeah. And they're not paying taxes on that, man. Look, tax free. When Jason put that out, I was like, I heard about it. I need to post it. And I put it out there. And I'm telling you, man, the more I hear about it, the more I'm thinking, hey, maybe old Harvey need to have a church of the soldierly relations or something. Shit, because they making money hand over fist. And guess what? The system is designed for businesses. It's not designed for individuals. Yeah. That's the other thing our community need to realize. You can go sell frozen cups and popcorn balls and stuff, but if you're not an LLC or something, you're only hurting yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Terrence Townsend said on one of the podcasts that it was something that thanks to Trump related to the businesses or something like that, how the businesses made money or something. I forgot, that was a podcast way back whenever, but I feel what you're saying. And I'll just say, Ari, it's always good. I know you've always say, hey, shit, if I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm there, and I appreciate you for coming on all the time. And I know it's late where you are, so we want to make sure that you get your chicken nuggets and barbecue sauce and great Kool-Aid.
And don't take out the trash either. Shit.
It's been good always.
Man.
All right, Jason, what you got, man?
Man, it's always a pleasure. Have good conversation. It don't matter to me if we agree or disagree. Sometimes it's a little bit more fun when we do disagree, but I like to see the different points of view and have a good conversation where everybody can say their piece and show respect to each other. So I always appreciate being on whenever I can make it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt. And I know, I don't know if it was our last podcast one time, but Jason had time, right? And I was trying to end it. Shit, Jason said, I got time today. We ain't going no goddamn where. So we talk about another hour. You like, shit, I got time.
Yeah. That's how it be sometimes,
But
like
it's needed, man. If you look at what's going on in the world, especially in the United States, and more specifically in our neighborhoods, we're not having enough conversations like this. People are quick to say, well, you don't believe like I believe, so fuck you. We're not talking.
Right.
We're going to keep this going. And I really feel like when I go to Chicago, where I'm originally from, nobody's talking. And when I say nobody's talking, there was a time where I said, I grew up here. Now I can't even say that. I got to be ready. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, we will continue to have these conversations on Wizzo Talk. And I'm telling you, I've taken some notes just by a lot of stuff that you guys have said and learned a lot of shit. And then when Jason told me that Beyonce, I'm like, what? So it's just some shit out there, man. And the information that's out there. And I think 7 had said one time, it was something to the fact of, so much information out there, you just got to go on and search that shit because it's out there. So look like Miss Sharita's talking about a great conversation right here tonight. And that's my fiance, y'all. She be watching it tooth and nail. She leave work sometime to get in to hear what we talking about, to get in the live and shit. And as soon as it's over with, I usually give her a call or whatever and say, well, baby, how did it go or whatever. She don't like when I drop too many of them F-bombs, but sometimes we gotta drop them motherfuckers.
Hey man, I'm telling you, sooner or later we're gonna mess around and we're gonna be going to a Wizzo Talk Summit in Killeen or somewhere in Texas, because I see it going there, man. That's why I try to make time to get in here, because dude, you're touching on something that not just needed, but a lot of people don't want to do. They want to do shit about complain about who got the football or who's battle rapping and shit. And here we are talking about relevant shit.
Yeah.
This is
Most
relevant.
definitely. Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. And that's just the way I like it, man. And, you know, in the barbershop talk, we just take one turn and we wind up another way. And we already been going about 3 hours. So
Roger.
it don't even seem like it, you know, if you don't look at the
Nah.
clock. Because the
Yeah.
conversation has been so damn good.
And ain't
Right.
nobody got lined up. Not a
Nah.
haircut been done.
Hell no, we all just still sitting there in the damn chair. Hey guys, I am gonna get out of here, guys. I mean, you guys have no idea how much I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys coming on. And for the viewers that's watching right now, remember that it's also free to like, share, and subscribe. It's been some fiery conversation here in the Barbershop Talk. I am Paul Wizzo. I'll let you boy.
Peace.